Greetings and peace from throughout the boundless universe. All praise is due to the Most High. Welcome to another session of New Maps. Today, we're going to talk about the 9 cares that we have, the 9 Ma'at cares that we have for IAML, Indigenous Aesthetics, Mathematics, and Linguistics. We would like to get into depth on what we mean by the 9 cares and how important they are to us and how we plan on influencing these or addressing these issues. With your help, of course, and your monetary support is very necessary for the growth of our corporation and our mathematics. Also, we're going to be reading out of the Book of the Dead, Coming Forth by Day by Dr. Malachi V. York. And before we begin, I would like to start off by reciting Panashat. I'm going to first recite it in our ancient language, Nuwapic. And do you want me to recite it in Nuwapic or just English? Okay, I'll recite it in Nuwapic, and then I'm going to translate it in English. Anuki Jawef Pa'ashuk Empapaut U Kalel Ashuk Kaun Jawefni Anuki Kasamun Empapaut U Papaut Kaun Kasamun Emni Anuki Wahu Ame Papaut U Papaut Kaun Wahu Amani Nakukabur Naju Ame Kasamun Empapaut U Khabo Vameshakason Nakukadur Kaun Kalel Pafef Nakuk Dayor Jawefem Papaut Salame Dayorni Kaun Lake Bakoi Jawefem Papaut Anuki Yabed Binafasni Papaut Kaun Anuki Papaut Kador Nakuk Kador Papaut Amal Nakuk Amoy. I'm in the love of the all. The all love is within me. I can succeed as a part of the all. I can succeed as a part. I only know it in the WAP. The translation is I'm a part of the all. I'm a part of the all, and all is a part of me. I am one with the all, and the all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of the all and fail as an individual. I can get all that I wish as long as my wish is to stay in the all. I am never alone. The all is, I am. The all can, I can. The all does, I do. Thank you. And
so what we're gonna do?
I was gonna introduce Nuanam to the people on my Facebook page.
Okay, do it.
So we have a lot of videos on New University TV, and this is the first time we're doing a live stream on my page.
Fact.
So I would like to introduce the mathematical system that my mate, Pittman, and I have been working on.
Peace, family. Peace.
Yes, we're mathematicians.
Peace.
Peace and love. We
Stay
are.
Right there. You don't have to move. You good right there.
So yeah, we are mathematicians. We are researchers, and my husband and I have developed a mathematical system that is based on Ma'at order of operations. And we have new number lines, as you can see above us. This is the traditional number line down here. This is the current number line that is being used worldwide. And this one right here, as you can see, the 0 is in the center of the number line. And on the top, on the second line, above that, we have our new number line. And this number line is the number line that we study, and this is the number line that is going to be implemented. We're pushing to put this into the calculators, into the school systems, and into, just to share this with the world and change the world. Because as we all know, mathematics is a universal language. And we would like to y'all to check our previous videos if you need just thorough explanation of the number line and how it can be useful and how we can apply it to our lives for the betterment of humanity and technology and the quantum world. You want to say something else?
I wanted you to explain to them at least this, like, what number is this?
Okay, yes, this is our new number line, and the reason why it's a new number line is because this number that we're introducing in our number line is called new.
New, okay, then I'll write that down.
Yes.
That number right there is called new.
New, N-U.
New, and it's written like this. Right, that's how it's written.
Yes.
New.
New, that's our new number.
And then what's our next new number?
Our next new number is un.
And that number is here.
Mm-hmm.
0 new or 0 1 or 0 1 or 0 new or 0 1 or 0 negative 1. Now all those is 0 2 is 0 3 0 4 0 5 0 to infinity. And the same thing up here, 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity. So, and we understand that that infinity is a concept, but we're using that. So we'll say from 0 to n. From 0 to n, we'll accept n. 0 to n. N means any number. So 0 and any number equals this number. 0 and any number equals un. It equals un, right? Okay.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And these numbers are beautiful. They create perfect symmetry, and they're aesthetically beautiful, and they help to solve a lot of unsolved problems that have been in the mathematical world for just centuries. With this new number line, we're able to make these problems, create solutions to these problems. So, so I hope you enjoy the show. Get your people together, round up your posse, bring them all to the channel.
Yeah.
Get your people, pencils, papers, and phones, the 4 Ps. And enjoy the show. So we're going to start off. Yes, enjoy the math session. We're going to start off with mathematics, and then we're going to go on our second half of the show by reading out of the Book of the Dead. Like I said earlier, the Book of the Dead coming forth by day. The Book of the Dead coming forth by day.
We're going to kind of review some stuff that we talked about in it.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to put it out there, if anybody has the Holy Angel, would you please hit us up? Speak on the Holy Angel. We're trying to get a copy or borrow a copy, or maybe have purchase a copy if somebody has one for sale. And this is my beloved iPadman.
So,
go ahead, babe.
Okay. So we're going to talk about.
Oh, let me say. I'm sorry. Let me say hi to the people on the show. I'm sorry.
And I wanted you to do one other thing first.
Sure.
I wanted you to not rush off. I wanted you to explain the mind, Kels, or you gotta go. You gotta go? Okay, say hi.
I kind of do.
Okay.
I just want to say
Okay.
greetings to the people on the chat. Greg Flag, how you doing? Amunet Nestert Sekmet and Harkaf Atum Ak. How y'all doing? Rahul back.
Rahul back.
Enjoy the show. And subscribe to our channel, our math channel, New Mathematics. New University TV on a YouTube channel. Peace and love.
Okay. So New University. Oh, I better put this. TV. And we have New University TV, and one of the main things we teach is new mathematics. New mathematics. So the ma'at is for the great mother ma'at. We even call this mathematrix. But this is for this, ma'at. And we also are IAML, which is an acronym for this along with y'all, indigenous, and this still don't describe everything we do. Aesthetic, mathematics, and linguistics. So we are IAML, or we just say IML, IAML, indigenous, aesthetic, mathematics, and linguistics. So that would make us indigenous, because we are indigenous people. That would make us estheticians, because we're here to clean up the filth. We're here to fix the world. We are as-Salahim, as the Supreme Grand Master Teacher taught us, that we are as-Salahim, those who work to fix things, those who work to perfect themselves. So we are indigenous, as we were taught. We are estheticians, as we were taught. We are beautifiers. We are nefers. We are mathematicians. This is our black magnetics, as is mentioned in the Behind the Nine Ball book, where Dr. Malachi York mentions that this is what you'll call black magnetics, not black magic, black magnetics. And so, and at this point, and this is supreme mathematics of the number 19. Let's not forget that. The supreme mathematics of the number 19. And linguistics. Linguistics is the language of mathematics. Mathematics itself is a language. So this linguistics is directly tied to this mathematics. So New University TV will be a place where we upload our videos to YouTube. Right now we starting out doing a Facebook Live, and then later on we may start putting our videos on YouTube direct. But as it goes for now, we are using our videos and putting our videos up on Facebook Live and then uploading to YouTube. Now, you see, you notice this too, that new and on in New University TV. So we try to keep that consistent. And we have here new ma'at. So we do our best to keep that consistent. And so here, as we explained earlier, or BASTET explained earlier, that this is a new number in mathematics, y'all. I'll try to stand over here sometime. This is a new number. I don't usually stand over here, but I'll stand over here. New is a new number. And so is this number on. On is a new number. These two numbers represent, and if you will, allow me to change this in to this right here. Because whenever you write the 0 in, it always looks like a word. It always looks like the word on. And I don't want to confuse nobody. See you later, my lord.
All right, Papa.
So then, this number is 0 new. So this would be 0 new or 0 new or 0 new. So this number is 0 new. Now, you might say, this number line, the traditional number line, what does that have to do with the new number line? Well, as we explained in several other videos, these two number lines are compatible. These two number lines are not only compatible, but they complementary. These two number lines work together in conjunction. Okay? It's cohesive. So we tell the people when we go to the schools and stuff like that, we show different staff members, teachers, whoever, principals, parents, whoever might be there, we show them different ways in which this mathematics is compatible with the math that the children are already learning, and that is only in addition to. It's only going to help grow what they already know. It's not going to completely change all the mathematics you know. It's not going to change 1 + 1 = 2, but it will change anything beyond that, anything before 1, dealing with 0. And then it will change the order of operations when you say 1 + 1. It will change the fact that there'll be new numbers added to your number line and to your numerical system. Those things will change, but that's called growth. That's not called changing what's already there. It's the same thing. I did not come to change the law. I came to fulfill the law. So this new number line is a fulfillment of the laws of mathematics. Okay? So that's what that is about. And that's the only true laws there are. So, yes, your cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
I'm sorry. Don't mind me.
Here, call it.
Thank you.
Yep. So, okay, mother. So, where were we? So, this number line, the traditional number line, and this number line, our new number line, are they cohesive and they conjoin. These number lines are conjoined. And that can be shown by way of something like this. If you were to take a graph, like we did last shot, and you were to show where you have numbers like 4, -4, -3, -2, -1, -0, and then we'll have the number new being the pole there. This number new would be the pole. This number new would be on the X and Y axis. This number would be on the X, which this is the X, laying down, and this is the Y, erect. Okay, my love,
Yeah, thank you.
peace.
Please.
So, be careful. So 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Let's say we have a number line like that. This is the real number line, okay? Now, let's say we have this number line. Same X, same Y. And let's say we have -4. And the next time I do this for our people, I might just start doing it the right way, because I have a problem starting with the negative over here. It goes absolutely in reverse. And we'll be one to teach the children the reverse, because in the mathematics that we'll be doing in the orders of operations, when we explain ma'at and the meaning of ma'at, when we explain the meaning of ma'at, you'll get glimpses of why we want to change this from the negative to the negative on this side and the positive over here. But that's a whole nother story. We'll continue on. So I want you to pay close attention. We have, and I didn't mean to do that. I'm glad I'm telling you to pay close attention, because I need to pay close attention. This is what I meant to do. I meant to do -4, -3, -2, -1, and then 0 on this axis. And then I want to put 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So this is similar. These two number lines are similar. This traditional number line is right here. This new number line is right here. Now, what we're showing here, what we're about to show, is not the disuse of the traditional number line. We're going to show the need, the necessity for the new number line to be inclusive of the traditional number line in order to be completely effective and efficient. So there are too many shortcomings to actually name, and as always, we just come on the air. We don't plan a show. The Most High is the best of planners, and we don't try to do the most, if you will. We just do what we can, do our best, as we were taught, and that's the best one can do. So here we go. So you have the number -4. You have the number -2, and then you have the number 0. Now, that may look all right, but the problem is that in your mathematics, you really can't go past this number. You really can't go past this number, -1. You really couldn't go past -1 and count, because in the current mathematics, this space is called nothing or 0. So you really couldn't go beyond this point. So this point, -1, and the same thing on this side. Let me do the same thing on this side. You see, I'm used to working from that side, but the same thing over here at 1 is there is a problem with getting past +1 and -1. They can't get on the other side of these numbers because these numbers represent what's called a pole or a singularity. Now, these numbers represent a pole or a singularity. Now, let me explain something to you. A pole and a singularity in current mathematics is a point, what can be called an asymptote, or a point where they don't understand in current mathematics, they can't comprehend in current mathematics, they can't define, it's indeterminate. They have many names for it. It's error, you know. However, the bottom line is that counting from -4 to -2, in order to get to 0, 0 rests beyond 1 on a pole, which can't be defined. Because the reason why the pole can't be defined is because you would have to first define. Let me see where I can write this best at. Right here. You have to first define. Let me see. Let me turn on my other light first off. That might help. Yep. I apologize for that. And let me see if there's, okay. So you have to first define 0. Can y'all see that? Let me do it up here. Okay. We're going to erase new for 1 second, and then we'll put it back up there. Let me get some wipes here. And let's take this down. So now, 0, alienate, 0. Now, the reason why we use alienate is because alienate is a part of the name of ma'at. Ma'at means, in mathematical terms, minus, which is your normal subtraction, alienate, which is your normal division, add, which is your normal addition, and times, which is your normal multiplication. And then there would be an O right here for order of operations. Ma'at, order of operation. And that ma'at. And so it would be O, orders or order of operation. And then you will have minus, you will have alienate, that's an L, trust me. Alienate, and you will have add, and you will have time. So we show this to show you the indigenous name, Mother Ma'at, the indigenous name. We show this to show you the aesthetics, the beauty in the name, the symmetry, the supersymmetry, the superposition, the order. We show this because to show you the mathematics, ma'at, 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 mathematics, mathematics. Twice her name is in this word. And we show, and the linguistics, that it's the mother tongue, not the other tongue. You see that? So in order to define this area, you have to know how to alienate. You have to know how to alienate zero. And if you type into your calculator right now, 0 divided by 0, and this is not a good phone. Let me get this one. This one is broke up. Let me see. So let me see what this calculator is. But somebody type in, and it's 7:22 when I looked at my clock, so that's very good time. And it's 7:23 as we speak now, so that's perfect time. So 7:22 is actually 22 alienate 7, and that equals pi. Okay? And if you were to read the book, I'll write that right here. If you were to read 1 King, or as they say, 1 King, 1 King, there's only one, 1 King, 7:23, that from 7:22, that'll be the beginning of verses that discuss the number pi. It'll discuss a round bowl, a molten sea being made. There's nobody on the planet that's been able to figure out how 1 King 7:23 will equal pi, because the bowl there is 30 cubits around, but it's 10 cubits across. Okay? So it's 10 cubits across and 30 cubits around. So this means that's 30 alienate 10. And that will equal 3. Let me do that right, John. I apologize. 30 over 10 equals 3. So now the significance of this is that the 30 over 10 equals 3. And it does not equal 3.14, as they would expect, on into infinity, as they would say. Now remember, you got to keep in mind, I'm saying as they would say, as they would expect. I don't expect for you to actually accept all of that. So now, so what I have here, so you can see it all, because I see it's a little bit too low. What I had there was a circle, and that circle was cut in half. And what I was saying is that this measurement right here, this line from here to here, is 10 cubits. And this line going around in circumference is 30 cubits. So we'll put 30 cubits down here. Well, actually, we should put it up here, 30 cubits. So the line going around is 30 cubits. And the line going across the diameter is 10. So we'll divide the circumference by the diameter, and we should get 3.14, but we don't. We get 3. So the question in 1 Kings is did God, did the makers of this molten seat, this laver, this bowl of brass and bronze, did they make a mistake in the measurement and the bowl was not a circle, it was some other shape? Because of the fact that this would not give you a complete circle. This will give you some other shape. So the whole mystery is to figure out what this is. And none of them can figure that out, and nobody else can. So I give you that as a mystery for people to look into if they want to. Oh yeah, I forgot that'll be too low. But that's something for you to look into. That's a mystery for you to look into. 1 Kings 7:23. There is a bowl, a circular bowl mentioned, and its circumference is 30 cubits, and its diameter is 10 cubits, and that gives you 30 alienate 10 equals 3. And this number is not this number, pi, as they would expect. It's not pi. It's not 22 over 7 either. Okay? It's not that number. And it's not Egyptian pi, because this is pi. And it's not this pi. 3.16. So it's not those numbers, pi. It's not those numbers. So that becomes an issue in the mathematics. Because if it doesn't equal pi, and it's supposed to equal pi, then that becomes a problem. Because now the math is not checking out. So that's why I showed you that. I just wanted you to see some of the flaws that are in mathematics, and they run into biblical things. Like for instance, I was watching a video earlier with BASTET right before the show came on, actually, and they were talking about the rebuilding of the third temple, and they were talking about it's supposed to be done in a certain amount of time. But currently and previously, they didn't have the mathematics and don't have the mathematics to actually build that bowl in order to complete the temple. So this is mathematics that need to be known in order to actually build the temple. And we, our people, we Nuwapians, have been blessed with that information. And we have the knowledge to rebuild the temple as we're supposed to. But for some reason, some people's minds have gone astray. But I'm not here to talk about that, but I do need to mention that because that's very important. Because truth is truth and proof is truth. So we have those responsibilities and those duties. Because we have a responsibility to our progeny, to our posterity, for their prosperity and for their perpetuity, always and eternally. So we have that responsibility. Now, so I want somebody to help us figure out 1 Kings 7:23 and how it equals pi. And you can look it up on YouTube, and they'll show you different videos that explain different ways. They'll give you gematria, they'll show you different things, but nobody knows mathematics how to do it. So at the end of the day, after watching those videos, I want somebody to come and give us an example of how that bowl would equal pi. That'll be a beautiful thing if we work on that. But trust me, like I said, we do have the answer. We do have the answer. So it's not a test of trying to do anything other than have our people look into something that's unsolved and unresolved, and to give us something to look forward to, like an answer or a solution, like to empower us, to redirect our minds, to encourage us. This is why people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Clarence 13X, they use techniques like mathematical questions. They would ask their students mathematical questions so that they would become involved and become evolved with that. Okay? So now, let me see. So we will want an answer to 1 Kings 7:23 and why it appears not to equal pi. What's going on with this bowl or this laver, this molten brass bronze seat? What's going on with this circle? And why is it just 10 cubits in diameter and 30 cubits in circumference? Why is that? When I divide 30 by 10, I come up with 3. If that bowl was a perfect circle, then that bowl would have to be 3.14, or to us Egyptians, 3.14, 22, 88.7, or 3.16. Okay? This equals pi. So, and this is the true, this is the real true value of pi. This is the complete value of pi. And you know that based on the fact that this number right here, see that number 3.16? Let me write that a little bit bigger so you can see that. That is 3.16. That is pi in ancient Egypt. And we did know about 88.7, and we knew about 3.14. We knew about that. However, our measure for pi, much like our royal cubit, was different. Then this number 3.16 was different. It wasn't known to them. They didn't know about it, and they didn't care about it, and they didn't carry it with them. We didn't tell them. So this is our number now. And they know today, by way of translations of the Iams papyrus, which they call the Rhine papyrus. They know these things today, that pi in Egypt equals 3.16. And sometimes they write 3.1605. And, you know, you can look up the square root of 10 in your calculator, and it'll read 3.16. And that'll be pi. So it's a lot of ways that we can arrive at 3.16. We can divide 19 by 6 and come up with 3.16. This is very important that all of the real, true Nuwapians, Wu hear the message that's being conveyed. So this number pi even reflects the number 19. If you turn that P around, you will have a 9. If you bring this I over, you will have 19. And if you do a little bit of mathematics, you'll see that 9 or I is the 9th letter. You see that? And you'll see that I is the first person, singular. You see that? And you'll have P, which is the 16th, right? And 9, which is 3 by 3. And you'll have your 3.16. You see that? You'll have your 3.16. 1, 9, it reflects pi. 9 is the 9th letter. 9, I is the 9th letter. 1 is the first person. 9 is 3 by 3. P is the 16th alphabet. 3.16. So you see that? So this is the message that we are working to convey to the right people so they can get on board with what we know is right. Because the only thing sacred in the world and holy in the world is the truth. And y'all know that. When I say y'all, I'm talking to the y'all that's conscious and conscientious as it reads in the Holy Tablet. I'm talking to the y'all that's both conscious and conscientious as it reads in the Holy Tablet. I just want to make the most of the camera, y'all, and we'll do it right there because we can write the name Ma, I think, and we got it right here, so that's good. So now we've explained this, the one king. We've explained pi over here in a separate way. This is interdimensional mathematics right here. This is interdimensional mathematics. What this is where this is interdimensional mathematics. This is a whole nother level and a whole nother branch of mathematics. But this right here, pi and pi, this 30 divided by 10 does not equal 3. That does not equal 3. So then this is a problem. So they say God made a mistake. So this is what the people say, the antagonists say to the protagonists, back and forth, that God made a mistake. And then the unapologetics say, no, God didn't. It was intentional, it would be that way, or it was some other way, it's esoteric, or, they just don't know that. So we have the answer. But we just wanted to put out that we wanted our people and other people, if they will, to at least attempt to look at that problem that's in there and see if they can figure out what's happening, why this 30 and this 10 don't equal pi. And if they can make it or show in a way where it does equal pi. Okay? That'll be the question. Now, if you allow me, I'll erase this part because I'm going to need this room in a way. And then I may need what's below, but this is a video, so you can always do what you do and watch it or pause it and magnify it and put it closer and actually see what's going on. So we started here with the number -4, -3, -2, -1, -0. And what we intended to do was just count by even numbers from 4 to 2 over to 0. But when we get to 0, we have to call this a point. We have to make up something for this number, for this number and for this pole, because we can't safely go over from between the area from 1 to 0. See that dotted line? The area from 1 to 0, the area between 1 and 0, that area, and this area, -1 and 0, and this area, +1 and 0. So then they make the quantum leap over to 2. But yet the number 0 is nothing. The number 1 is a pole or a singularity. But so everything between -1 and 0 over to +1 is a guess. It's a quantum leap. So when you go from 1, 0, 1, that's a quantum leap. The minute you hit 1 and go over to 0, you have a quantum. You go over to 1, you done made a quantum leap. You're making a double leap over nothing. You make a leap from 1 to nothing, and then from nothing over to 2. It's impossible. So that's called in L's Holy Quran, written by Dr. Malachi York, the knowledge of that is called the revealing of the 101 mathematical code. Okay? I'll say that again. The knowledge of that is in the introduction of L's Holy Quran by Dr. Malachi York under the 101 mathematical code that is now being revealed and explained, the 101 mathematical code. And it's very important that we know the knowledge of this, because we were given the facts. It never said that it wasn't true. And when I say it never said, I'm talking about the doctrine. I'm not talking about a person. I'm saying that within the doctrine never says this is the truth. The doctrine tells you that these are the facts beyond doubt, and that you should go and check them out. And if you don't go and check them out, then things can befall you, because as Mama York teaches us, what you don't know can and will hurt you. So now we go over from 4 to 2 over to 0. So this is a blind spot, if you will. This area from -1 over to +1, from -1 to 0 to +1, that's a blind spot. So that's -1, 0, 1. So that blind spot is where we find the numbers nu and un. That blind spot is where we find the numbers nu and un. And this, where we say un this way, this is where this number line and this number line connect. These two number lines connect at that point. Nu and 0, un, these two number lines connect at that point. This is where these number lines come to fruition. So this is where that number is manifested. Nu divided by 0. Nu alienate 0 equals 0 nu. Un. So this number here is un. So a flaw in mathematics is that in mathematics, no mathematician and no calculator or computer, no science, no Riemann hypothetical or functions or anything can help anyone divide by 0 other than new mathematics. So you can look into dividing by 0. There are thousands of movies about videos about dividing by 0, and movies, horror movies about dividing by 0. Look at a couple of the ways they present dividing by 0. I'm gonna do it one of these days, but I don't want to do it now because it'll slow us down. But they have horror movies. They have spell casting videos about dividing by 0. So, how can I say it? Don't let your children watch it. You watch it and know and be aware of it and be conscious and conscientious of it. And then once you become alert, alive, awake, alert, and alarmed, then you can be aware and beware. You see that? Then you can be aware and beware. So it's 4 levels to that consciousness. And then there's consciousness, and then there's conscientiousness, and then there's cognition. So we deal on all levels. So when we say conscious and conscientious or conscious, we're talking about conscious being alive and awake. Because sleep is the sister to death, right? Okay, and then we say conscientious. We'll say that would be alert and alarmed. Those will be at your highest psychic levels of psychic self-defense and defending oneself against what they know to be adverse forces. Okay, and then the third one we'll say will be cognition. Okay, and so we have conscious, conscientious, and cognition, and we have alive and awake. We have alert and alarmed, and then we have aware and being aware. We have aware and beware. So those are the levels of consciousness. And then of course you have a subconscious and a superconscious, and that's another story. But that's what we want to make you aware of. So, and this number, -1, 0, and 1, are these numbers. Nu divided by 0 equals 1. So because this number cannot be found nowhere in the planet Earth or in the heavens, Revelations 5:1 through 5, Revelations 5:1 through 5. This number cannot be found nowhere. The answers to this cannot be found nowhere. In the heavens or the earth, or in the waters, or beneath the earth, nowhere in the earth. So, then with the introduction of this number, you now can enter this domain. You now can enter this dimension between 1 and 0. You now can define that space. And with the definition of that space comes new space and time. Comes a new number line. Comes a new number line. With the new definition of space, -1, 0, 1, comes a new space, new 0, 0 in time. And so from this, we're able to define this number 0. And this 0 becomes a space on this number line because it has been defined. So this 0 becomes a space on this number line. And it has a reflective value on this number line. Right here, it's symmetrical. We're talking supersymmetry. We're talking symmetry now. We're talking aesthetics, elegance, beauty in mathematics. So, as the Diné people, some people call it Navajo, the Diné will say, Hojon, Nijone, beauty. So, this would be Nu and 0. So now, what we want to show is that when we go, I'll do it up here now. When we go from 4 over to 2, over to 0, over to 2, over to 4, on out to N, or on out to N, when we do this, let's look at this closer. 4, 2, 0, 2, 4. Now, let's look at the odd numbers. That would be from 5, but we'll leave that alone because we don't want to mess that up. So we'll have 3, 1, -1, -3, -1. Then we'll skip 0. And we'll go up to 1. We'll 3, 1, skip 0. And go over to 1. Then we'll have 3 again. So what we're showing is that not only is this space undefined, this 1, 0, 1 area, but when we use odd numbers, the odd numbers don't have a center in the traditional number line. The odd numbers don't have a center point. They go from 3 to -1 to the opposite side, 1 to 3. But it does not contain a center. And that's a problem with symmetry. That shows that there's a missing link. And this missing link is this number Nu. Now, let me show you why. Because when I go from 4 to 2 right here, and I go to 0 right here, I can see the reflection of 0 over here. And I can see the reflection of 2 and 4. You see that? So now, when I go from 3, -3, over to -1, I have a pole here. I have a number there. I have a pole here. I have something here. Let me show you. And I did that wrong. I have a pole here. Something that I can meet. I did that wrong. I have a pole here. See that? Let me erase that. So I have a pole here. See that? So let's straighten that line out a little bit. I don't want nobody to think we cheated. I don't want nobody to think we cheated. But that's what they was gonna call us. Cheat. Look it up. So here we go. So 3, -3, over to -1, from -1, over to new, from new, over to 1, from 1, over to 3, and from 3, over to n. So each number in this number line, 4, 2, 0, 0, 2, 4, has its reflective value over here. 4, 2, 0 on the pole, 2, 4. So 0 over here is the center. Now 0 has a center. And now when 3, 1, 0 was not a pole, 1, 3. When we didn't have a pole over here using this number line alone, now that we use both number lines, when we combine both number lines, both numbers have a pole. Both numbers have a place where they can land. And I'm using the word pole in our terms now because we can't give them the word pole. The reason why we can't give them the word pole, even though they define the word pole as a undefined place or a singularity or something they don't know about, the reason why we can't give them the word pole is because the word pole is a sacred tone. Pole, who, pole, the wapo. It's a sacred tone. And it represents that point. It represents this point right here. Just like this point represents nu, it also represents po. It also represents the po. It represents that from the doggone potolo. The doggone potolo. That's what it represents. So and the sagala, some of the heaviest material on the planet Earth exists in this area right here. You see? So that's why that's that way. So now when we combine this number line, the traditional number line, with the new number line, and our goal this shadow hour is to show the compatibility of the two number lines. Okay? That's our job. That's our goal tonight. This shadow hour is to show the compatibility of the two number lines and how without one number line, this number line limits you. It's limited. It does not have a center value for the odd numbers. 1. It cannot go past the number 1 in all actuality. You can't count past the number -1 or the number 1 because those are poles and they act like singularities. So everything else becomes guesswork. And then you have this number that they call, that's appropriate, that they call I. They have a number that they call I. And so this number I is supposed to be a complex number. But what you'll find is that there is no need for this number. They call this number an imaginary number. Now, we know that when they say imaginary, that they're not actually talking about an imaginary number. It's not a number that's just been imagined. And you can feel free to thumb up the video and like the video if you're watching the video. It really helps. It really encourages us to do a good job. How would I say it? And in the Wapu stance, it'll be thumb down that video. Feel me? Because that would be the 9, and this will be the 6. See that? So thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. So here you go. So you have a pole here, and you can't go between 1 and 1. So this leaves the whole space unknown to you and your children and your progeny. That's unknown to you. And so, like I said, Dr. Malachi York mentions that this is the 101 mathematical code. So in this space, we explain within that space is the number nu alienate 0 equals un. So this space is filled with un. This space has a value, and that value is un. That value is un. Or this number, un. Same thing, un. That value that fills this space is un. Okay? So now let me erase that so that ain't confused. And so there's another point within this number line, because un is, and let's say this, so you could put this in a calculator. 1 divided by 0 is undefined. See that word un? But it's undefined. In your calculator, if you type in your calculator 1 divided by 0, it'll be undefined. No answer. It'll be error. Error. Undefined. If you type in your calculator 2 divided by 0, it'll be error. If you typed in there 3, it'll be error. If you typed in there 1 trillion, it'll still be an error. If you typed in there even 0, 0 divided by 0, it'll still be an error. So right here, that presents us another problem. See how questions leads to investigation? Because our question about whether we can go from 4 to 2 to 2 to 0, and from 0 to 2 and 0 to 4, the moment that I don't feel safe jumping from 2 to 0, I start to question what's happening here. And then when I go from 3 to 1, and from 1 and jump over 0 to 1, then I really feel nervous. Let me show you what I mean again. When I go from 4 over to 2, and then when I go from 2 over to 0, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe jumping on 0. As you know it, and as Dave have explained it to you, I do not feel safe jumping from 2 to 0. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. I don't trust that. I need to know where 0 is and how 0 behaves and what 0 does. Whether I'm going to fall into a receptacle or whether I'm going to walk around a circle. What is 0? How do we define 0? Give me the definition, the measure, the amount, the sum, the product, whatever it is, give it to me in the form of 0. And they can't. All they can tell you is that it's nothing. It's a place value for 10, which we've already proven, and we'll probably wind up showing that the 0 for 10, 20, and 100, and 1,000 as a place value to show the differences in tens, 100s, and thousands, and millions in place values is not the only purpose of the number 0. Because we show that by showing a simple mathematical. Let me erase this. That's some beautiful mathematics, y'all, that we just erased. So y'all make sure y'all get that on the record, and y'all make sure y'all download the videos. Download the videos, because you know how these things go. Look at that. I'm blocked off my Facebook anyway. You see that? Now, what have I said or done to be blocked off my Facebook other than taught y'all mathematics? So now, let's go. But I'll tell you what they say I said. I used a post and I defined the word nigger. Now, that didn't make sense to me because the word is a word being used right now. You can turn around any way you want to. It's a word being used publicly. It's a word being used racially and biasedly. It's a word being used all across the world casually, jokingly. It's a word being used in movies, in art. Even the movie Django, the word Django means engine. And the word engine means nigger to them. So then these are artistic ways of using that word. People put up art that says the word. So when people take away your ability to express or to define a word or to teach somebody just based on the sound of a word, that's when it becomes a violation of your rights. Because that's a violation of your expression. You have the right to express yourself and to say what you feel. So when people stop your right to, to do those things, then they violating your rights. And so everybody, including Facebook, as well as the media, and anybody that's looking at words like homosexuality or gay, or any word like that, any word that they call derogatory, like a wetback or a chink or a cracker or a hunky or a devil, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, these words are used and they have been used throughout history. So when people use it in the context of teaching, like I am now, if you're gonna try to seal my lips from saying those words just because you yourself can't stand to hear them, then you should not be on the planet Earth. You don't belong among other people because you're the type of person that feels like if I don't vote, then I'm nobody. When my no vote counts even more than your vote, because your vote is against another vote, and that cancels each other. But my no vote determines the ballot. So I see zero in a different kind of way. My zero is an effective zero. It's an efficient zero. I use right knowledge. I apply right knowledge to the things in my life and to the decisions that I make. Therefore, I make quick decisions, and we should make quick decisions. All knew why. Because quick decisions builds what? Exactly. It builds the ability to have willpower. Quick decisions will increase your willpower. Your will grow stronger with your ability to not procrastinate and make quick decisions. So these people, what I want you to understand is that in linguistics, because this is indigenous means historical, etymological, ontological. It means everything to deal with native. So everything here. I don't want to go crazy. And then here we go. Aesthetics. This deals with beauty. This deals with symmetry. Mathematics. This deals with the language of universal. And linguistics. This deals with the lingo of that universal language. So if I'm going to deal with all of these things, then those words may come up. Those words may come up. I was watching one professor, and I mention him all the time. I've got a YouTube. His name Professor William something. He had a very small class. I only watched like one video, and one or two. But from what I saw, I got to get back to those videos. And if I'm wrong, correct me. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. I think he passed transition, but before he transitioned, he was able to make this connection through YouTube with me, because what he showed was he actually showed that the symbol for pi was actually used. It had something to do with a bondage or a slave symbol. You hear that? That the symbol for pi actually has something to do with a slave symbol and bondage. Look it up. So I thought that was very interesting. He was a very good teacher. Very, very, very wise man. So anyway, this area where we have 4, 2, and then we go to 0 is very uncomfortable. Then we were able to move from 0 to 2, and then from 2 to 4. That made us question. We started to question what's going on between that number. Like, we wanted to know then, if 0 is nothing, then what's this pole? What's this y-axis? If 0 is nothing, what's this y-axis? It's called a pole of singularity. It's undefined. It's indeterminate. They don't know. It's unknown. Okay? Then the question came, so what's the area between here? What's this area? How much is that? Is it, let's do it on the positive side, because some people may feel like that's less than 0. So let's do it on the positive side. So we wanted to know what was between here. Like, you can't just assume that this is 1 and then some number like 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 0.0. You can't just assume that that's a 0.0. Because on this side, you would also have to assume that this would be -1, -0.9, -0.8, -0.7, -0.6, -0.5, -0.4, -0.3, -0.32, -0.1, -0.0. So then you will have a -0 and a +0, just like you have right here. You have to assume that. And then you will have to be able to divide 0 by 0. You will have to be able to divide 0 divided by 0. You will have to be able to divide 0 divided by 0. So we can write this number just like that. 0 divided by 0. Just like we have the 1, 0, -1, 0, 1 mathematical code. Its revelation is the new. Because this number would be 0 and new, and then this number would be new, and then this number new and 0 would be So you have new, So those would be the tones, and that would be the sound right there. That would be the name of that number. New, and So now, or one could say new. So then you have, and this is the name of this space right here. This actually defines this space, but it defines it up here in another space and time. It doesn't define it on this number line. It defines it on this number line using 0 and this one. 0 and this one. 0 and 1. And the real identity of this 0 and 1 is really the real identity of this 0 and this 1, or this 0 and that 1. The real identity of that is on. So the real identity of that space between them is un. And that number un, we already determined is right here. It is, and we'll erase it and make a little bit more room. That number un is new, or any number. It could be n now. It could be any number. But in this case, it's new divided by 0 equals un. So that number is un. So then New divided by 0 equals un. And this number between here is an un number. That's because 1 divided by 0 equals un. I'm going to say it again. -1 divided by 0 equals un. So un would appear right here. +1 divided by 0 is right here. So un would appear right here. You see that? So now, when you go up to this number line, you see that our number line is off by a power of 1. It's off by a power of 1. What I mean by off by a power of 1, where in your traditional number line, you have 5, we have -4. You have -4, we have -3. It's off by a power of 1. -3, -2. -2 to -1. -1 to 0. And 0 to new. And 1 to 0. And 2 to 1. And so on and so forth. So each time it's going to be off by a power of 1. And this off by a power of 1, I was kind of looking around for my, I forgot to put back up my -2 symbol. Let's draw that in. So now, this un number, -1 divided by 0 equals un. However, this too, -1 divided by 0 would equal un. And this too, 1 divided by 0 would equal un. And 0 divided by new. New divided by 0. I apologize for that. New divided by 0. Because now we go the reflexive way. First we had 1 divided by 0 equals un. Now we got new divided by 0 equals un. So we came this way the first time, 1 divided by 0 equals that. Now we're going this way, new divided by 0 equals that. So we went. See that? Okay. So now, then the same thing over here. New divided by 0 equals un. So this is how you have a binary and a quantum. And this is where you have information that, first of all, this whole number line is missing information. Let's just be clear. This whole new number line is, first of all, the missing information. And then the fact that, let's digress for a second. I am not going to forget my spot. Let's digress for 1 second. We New Wapians, we have major brain power. We can stay on track. Ain't no filter. And if you have a question, print it big. I'll see if I can see it. I don't see no question. So let me see what I want to explain. I want to explain this right quick so we can get it off the board. My cares. We have 9 cares. We care for the elders or the elderly. That's 1. Or you could say now, 1 on. And we care for the mothers, 2 on. 3 on. We care for the children, 4 on. We care for the hospitalized, 5 on. We care for the widows, 6 on. We care for the orphans, 7 on. We care for the homeless, 8 on. We care for the impoverished, 9 on. We care for the imprisoned. And these are the 9 cares of my cares. And that's our branch of what you'll call our not-for-profit, our tax-exempt side of our organization. Our organization is IAML, Indigenous, Aesthetic, Mathematics, and Linguistics. We incorporated as that. That's our corporate name. However, we have a non-profit name, and it's My Cares. So we would like for you to support and contribute your support and donate to both IAML, our curriculum and academia, as well as my cares, and help the elderly, mothers, children, the hospitalized, widows, orphans, the homeless, the impoverished, and especially, we know, who is in prison, is included definitely in the imprisonment. So we would like to free and make free a very special person. And I have to say, and see, it's such a touchy subject because you got so many people that think they know the linguistics. And so if I speak and I don't include the word free, they'll say, why is he doing that? Well, I have a different take on the word free. I need something to drink too. Not need something to drink, but my lips are dry. So let's drink some of this. So now, they'll say, why is he avoiding this word and that word? And I'm saying that I'm a linguist. So to me, the word free is valueless. It's a spell, like the number 0. Let me explain. That if you say somebody kidnaps or abducts slaves, and they took them. They didn't pay nobody. They just took them for free. Then they took them to a land and they made them work for free. Then the last thing I want to be called after I'm free is free. That's the last thing I want to be called is free. Because free is what got me here. Free. Me being captured for free and me being working for free is called slavery. That's what free is. So then I don't choose to say free him. I don't choose to say that. I value him. We value him. So I choose to put value behind what I'm saying when it comes to him. Because I know words are spells. And so I know people cast spells. I know linguistics and imaginative is very important. So, and mathematics is very important. So I watch those words like he taught us. So you should too. So rethink sometimes what you're saying and what it's in the context to, what it's in reference to. Like free and freedom and freedmen. That means a person already has been in captivity. But some of you run around saying, I'm free. But to be free means you were once a slave. Now, a slave to what? Free from what? Because I never was a slave or captive on anybody's boat. So I could never be free in that way. This is my land. I'm an indigenous person here. And I always been here. I'm an autochthonous, endemic person here. I'm a sovereign. So, autochthon. So, I'm natural. I'm native born. I'm original. So, it's primary being. So, nobody can come and make me believe that I'm a slave and I was brought here. So then I don't have to be, I wasn't never a slave, so I never fell under the title of needing to be free. Okay? So now we can say, well, Dr. Malachi York is in prison, so that's in need of being free. No, I'm saying it's other lingo we can use, just like he told us. Stop saying he will be free, or stop saying I'm going to get you free, and talking as if it's in some past tense. In some future tense when we deal in that. So if we're going to speak, we have to keep our words impeccable, as I was always warned by a previous person in my life, that words have to be impeccable. And I agree. So we should be impeccable with our tones when it comes to the Supreme Grand Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi York, and when it pertains to the value of his life and the cost of his life. You see that? That's priceless. You see? So that's invaluable. So we want to be careful about the word free and how we use that word pertaining to Dr. Malachi York. We just want to be careful about how we use that word and make sure we always add value to the free, because we now overstand. We don't understand. This is not semantics or syntax or context or any of that. This is real knowledge. This is the fact that if they go and capture slaves and they bring those slaves, take them for free. Don't pay nobody, just take their lives for free into their own hands. And then they go to another land and then they make those slaves work for free. Then the word free in some context has to wake up in your mind and become something that you have to deal with, whether it's a negative polarity or a positive polarity. Even the words free your mind. You see? Because in order for your mind needing to be free, your mind has to be enslaved. Now, in order for your mind to be enslaved, it will have to be captured or captivated. And that's mentioned too in the book of Revelation, where it talks about that the beast would be given a voice and the beast would be give this image. And the beast is an image now. It's a simple image of a person. And this image of a person would be given a voice. And this image of the person would be able to speak. And this image of the person would be influencing the world. And that's another thing that was on that video was the Antichrist. They'll tell you about the Antichrist. They'll tell you about the Dajjal. They'll tell you about the false prophet. They'll tell you about the so-called reincarnation of what they call Christ. But they'll never tell you about your real story. They'll never tell you about who really came to help and provide the help for you. They'll never tell you that. They want you to believe that it's some spooky category in the 4 categories I just mentioned that's gonna happen. Look into the word anti-Messiah. Look into the word anti-Messiah, and I think you will learn a lot. And look and attach that word anti-Messiah with the word Melchizedek. Okay? And I think you'll learn a lot about what the opposite day is. We talked a lot about opposites and all of that, how everything been inverted and perverted and reversed and all of that. But so, and that's part of this spell right here. That's part of this spell. So now we can go ahead and erase this part now that we got the 9 cares out the way. And we discussed why we care for these people and this type of thing. We want to move back to the mathematics. We just want to give ourselves some room. So now, just to recap, this area is undefined. We have the number. Nu divided by 0. And nu divided by 0 equals I. Now, this may be difficult for you to comprehend. It may not be. It may be easy. But what I got to show you is that when I say that nu and un are the identity, then let me give you an identity. 1 times n equals n. Or we can say n times 1 equals n. Those are supposed to be mathematical axioms. So necessarily true on all levels, not in quantum mathematics. That's not necessarily true. It's not true at all in quantum mathematics. Okay? In fact. So what we want to show is that this is a law or axiom that they have put into effect. And so anytime you doing mathematics that goes against that law, they call it undefined or indeterminate. But what we're going to show that is not only not undefined, it's defined, and it is determinate. Okay? So, but this is the axiom. So when you see us break laws, like for instance, now nu times 1. Oh, wait. Let's take it slow. Let's do it slow. Okay? Let's do nu times n. Okay? Let's just do nu times n. Nu times n equals n. Now, you gotta understand, I'm going slow, I'm being methodical, and I'm going slow like this for a reason. Not only do I have to be careful not to make too many mistakes because I don't want to put the wrong thing in your mind and then have you to have to rethink it, but I also want to go slow because it's a lot happening right here. There's a lot of stuff happening right here, and I want you to be able to see it. I want you to be able to envision it. I can't explain everything. So then when I say nu times n equals n, then we could just suppose that n times nu has got to equal n. Because 1 times n equals n, and n times 1 equals n. So we could just assume that nu times n equals n, and n times nu equals n. And not only that, let's add in this fact, that the number nu is equal to the number 1. This number here, nu, is equal to the number 1. This number nu is equal to the number -1. That number nu is equal to those numbers. So now, but it's not equivalent, but it's equal. So let's roll with that. So these numbers are alike. So then let's put these two numbers together in a sequence. What you think will happen if we said nu times 1? What you think the answer will be? You think the answer will be, because anything times 1 equal that number. Anything times 1 equal that number times 1. And anything times nu equals that number. Anything times nu equals that number. So which one do you think is the true identity? Do you think this is the true identity? Or 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 would you suppose this is the true identity? I think this, I know this is the true identity. So then, the identity principle in current mathematics is flawed because of the fact that there is another number, and you can look this up too. Look this up. I gotta watch this video myself because I don't look this up too. It's been speculated for a long time that there was a number between 1 and 0. That's been speculated before, that there's a number between 1 and 0. Okay? That there is a number between 1 and 0. That's been speculated before, that there's a number there. Okay? So now, but what about if there's speculation about a number between 1 and 0? Then what about here? Because this is the number between 1 and 0. And this is the number between 1 and 0. But what about this number here? This number is between 1 and 0. And this number is between 1 and 0, because this number equals 1. And this number is between 1 and 0. 1 and 0. And this number is between 1 and 0. So what about that kind of combination? What happens here? What's actually taking place here? So then, this is new times 1. And the answer, if you said new, you are wrong. The answer is 1. The answer is 1. New is the true identity. So then if you have 1 times new, it's still 1. Because new is the true identity. New does not appear on your normal number line. New only connects your number line to a new number line and to other dimensions. I'll say it again. New divided by 0 equals new. 0 divided by 0 equals new. 0 alienate 0 equals new. So then, this number new, as being a result, this number new is a result. New is a result of these divisions. Although it's an emergence, on this side of mathematics, it can be found as a result of these two numbers. 0 divided by 0 equals new. So even here, where I have this, new divided by 0, this equals on. Even though I wrote that as new, I just didn't want to be confusing. This number, you couldn't call it new. You would have to call it 1 or 1 on. You have to call it its equivalent because new is the identity, and so this will be 1 on. Just like you'll find that once you do that, there will be no number called on. There will only be 1 on, 2 on, 3 on, 4 on. Just like for a minute in a long time when we had 0, and then the knowledge of the number 0 was lost to certain people. And then once that knowledge was lost, they were doing mathematics without the number 0. Did you know that? That for a long time, they did mathematics without the number 0. Then after that, a long time, they did mathematics without a -1, a -2, a -3. All of this was new. The 0 was called the devil. Negative numbers was called evil and wicked, and it went on and on. And then they came up with imaginary numbers like I, that were numbers not on this plane, but on a complex plane. And they thought that this too was evil. And so, but yet these numbers and things have been proven to be very useful. And so with the replacement of some of that mathematics, and you've probably heard of the theory of everything or supersymmetries or things like that. And that's what we have here. That's what we have here. We have not a theory and not a theorem. We deal with what? Axioms, maxioms, proofs, and laws. Okay? Axioms, maxioms, proofs, and laws. So we have now shown a new law in mathematics, a law in identity, as well as we have shown a new number in interaction with the regular number line. So this is what I want y'all to see. The things that I can't say, I want you to see like, whoa. No, something good happening here. I'm seeing a lot because not only is my brother able to show their identity for 1 times n equal n and n times 1 equal n, but he's also able to show nu times n equal n, n times nu equal n. And those formulas check out in my mind, in my soul, they speak to me. I know it's the truth. And so then when I look up here, not more knowing much about nu, and knowing that I know 1 times anything gonna equal that number. But for some reason, when I see nu times 1, I know it's not nu. I know it's gonna be 1. And when I see 1 times nu, I know it's not gonna be nu. I know it's gonna be 1. Because nu is equal to 1, but not equivalent to 1. What I mean? Nu is equal to 1, but it's not in the same place as 1. 1 is here, nu is here. Nu is equal to -1, but it's not equivalent to -1, because -1 is here and nu is here. So nu is equivalent to these, but it's not there, it's here. So it's equal to these, I'm sorry, but not equivalent because it's there and they're there. So that's the thing that we wanted to show. So this is something new. I've never shown this on a video before. This is the identity of nu. So what you have just learned is the identity part of it. Part of it. It goes a long way. I got a whole book about it. And I'm really, myself, BASTET, the children of the world, being born now and unborn, are asking for you all to support this mathematics, because it'll be their future. And every day you waste their time, not your own. You waste their time. You waste their time in having a plate prepared for them. When they enter into the world, they can enter into a truthful world, a world working toward honesty and integrity, a world working towards mathematics, a world working towards, good, harmony, order, rightness, truth, justice, equality, niwapu, those things, equalize, for working towards perfection. They can know that they enter in a world with a spark of life that's doing something. They building a temple. They rebuilding Kadesh. They done invested in quantum computing. They done invested in building curriculum and academia, which is the source of all the world. Eventually, they gonna find out. They finding out. Listen, they finding out right now that they call in the universe and all the particles that you name it consciousness. Now we're talking about consciousness, conscientiousness, and cognition. We already making steps toward the 4th dimension. Okay, but they just talking about consciousness. Okay, we'll give them that. Then on another level, they call in the universe information. They have a theory of information, that the universe itself and all things that exist in it is nothing but information. Some say consciousness, some say information. But this lets you know that information relates to knowledge. So this lets you know the importance of being conscious and being able to store information and to being able to provide consciousness and being able to provide information is a key to being useful on the planet Earth. You understand this? Instead of being a useless eater. Dr. Malachi told us, he taught us, you have to make yourself useful, valuable on the planet Earth, or else you remain valueless and without respect. So we don't want to do that. So we have to work towards perfection. We have to get ourselves right. We got to listen to what's right. We got to do what we know is right. And so what's right is that we correct the current mathematics, first of all. And we add the new number line to our children's teaching. And we take whatever spell it is that got you, keeping you away from me, and my wife, BASTET, that's got you away from us, because it's got to be something there. Whatever keeping us apart, we need to dispel of that, and we need to put ourselves in a place where we can come together and get together so that we can all be reminded of what we had forgotten. Okay? It's a reason why it's a zakarat, which is those who remember, those who zikr. And then it's a reason why it's an enosha. And the tribe of Manasseh, those who forget, or those who will forget. So it's a reason why these things were mentioned to us. So don't be an enosite. Come back and remember. And remember means to put your body back together, to put yourself back together, to put your whole self back together, like you said, to put yourself back together. Complete. That's before you turn yourself inside out. So before you jump to run into, oh, I'm going to turn myself inside out, no, you have to first remember. How can you go anywhere without remembering? It's no time other than the past anyway. And we can explain that as now, but let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. You got the past, as they'll call it. You got the present, as they'll call it. We'll give them the sequence. And you got the future. Now, you have now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what's called tetrahedral thinking. That's the mind tetrahedral. When you see interdimensionally, and when you look not at the thing, or not just inside the thing, but you see actually through the thing. So you see all the way through the thing. So you see from now to past to now to present to now to now. So then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And so then when you take the three sides of a tetrahedron, when you take the three sides of a tetrahedron and you put them together, you get a fourth side, the base. You get the base of the tetrahedron. You get the base of it. Like we'll call this the base. And then we'll call the side against the wall that you can see straight through, this side right here, we'll call that 1. And then we'll call this one 2 and that one 3. So we have like 1, then we have like 2, then we have like 3, and then we have 4 at the base. So that's how a mind tetrahedron would be. So we see we have now, and we have these 3 spaces, past, present, future. And this is what makes time appear linear. This part of what makes time appear linear. I wrote on the internet, like Einstein them couldn't even explain what really made time appear linear. But I explained just the other day on Facebook what actually makes time appear linear. But we ain't gonna get into that right now. What I want to show you is that you have these 4 quantum places. Now what I want to show you is this right here. I'm going to write a statement. We into paradoxes. I'm going to write a statement. We saw paradoxes. Nuwapians, we into paradoxes, we into paradigms, we into parables, we into parallel universes, parallel thinking, parallax views. We're into that. We're into paranormal, we're into the para everything. Power. We're into power. Okay? So now, we have past. So, and above this, we just gonna say above this. Now, above this time, we have all. So above these 4 nouns, we have all. So that's called quintuplicated. That's called quintuplicated ether. So we bring all 4 of them together, and we realize the 5th point, we have all. Just like if we have a point right here, and a point right here, that's 2, and a point right here, that's 3, and then a point coming at us, that's 4. But if we could realize another point that's down below this point, that's on the other side, if that's a dual tetrahedron, 5th point. We have a 5th point. So as above, so below. Or so as above, so as below. So we have that. We have that 5th point. We have a 5th point, an unseen point that rests down. So that's called quintuplicated ether. That's the fifth dimension we explained the other day. So now, so what I'm explaining is that I said above these, you'll have, and since we already explained that, let's take this out. In IML or IAML, indigenous, that relates to our native roots in the Americas and Africa, but that's our continent, so we just named the continent. But by nationality, you know, we would be Egyptian, Dogon, Olmec, Turanian, Yamasee, Washita, Polomoki, you know. And then aesthetics relates to beauty, mathematics relates to the universal language, and the linguistics relates to the oral law and the law of the land, the mother tongue, the mother tongue. So now, my bad, I didn't do that. Okay, so past first is now. So above that, we have all. So let's make the statement. Let's make the statement. What's the statement? The statement is all is. That's the statement. And to certain people, when they left Egypt, they left with the statement number is. They left with the statement number is. Think about that. Number is. Number is. Think about that now. So all is. So now, and you know, existence. Existence is. Existence is a good one. Existence is. But the thing about existence, existence is, was, and be is existence. So that. So existence is quintuplicated is, was, be, exist. So existential. So the same thing could be said about number. Must be is, was, be, exist. And so all is. Okay? So now, here we go. So now, what we want to show is, so we know all always existed. So we want to point this fact out, a mathematical statement. We'll use the word one, meaning you, person. One cannot add to all, nor can one subtract. Well, we'll say minus. We'll use our word. We use add, we'll use minus. Minus from all. Right? You can't add to all, nor can one take away or minus from all. For where would they get it or put it? All is. For where would one get it or put it? All is. One cannot add to all, nor can one minus from all. For where would one get it or put it? All is. So that's our statement. So if you can't add to all, nor can one minus from all, then if this is all, and this is all, then everything in all has already happened. Everything in all has already happened. And now is an event happening. But everything in all has to already exist. It has to already exist. It has to already be. It has to already was. It has to already is. It's already in existence. Kun fire kun. It has to already be in existence. It's already here. So if you can't add to all and you can't take from all, so where would you get it or put it? Oh, and while we're at it, let's do this. We got number is. We got existence is. We might as well go ahead and say time is. Time is. You can't add to time. You can't take from time. But where would you get it to put it? Time is. You can't add to existence. You can't take from existence. But where would you get it to put it? Existence is. You can't add to all. You can't take from all. But where would you get it to put it? Existence is. You can't add to number. You can't take from number. But where would you get it to put it? We just added an entire number line to the whole mathematical system. We have a new zero. We have a new circle, a new square, new numbers, new number lines, new graph lines, new orders of operation, new solutions to problems, new dimensions and planes to explore, new states and conditions, new particles, new waves, new quantum computers. So when people say there's nothing new under the sun, or a certain thing can be done, then always remember that those are limits. Dr. Malachi Z. York told us one time, he said, you know what? You should slap them out of the first person that ever told you that you can't. Whoever told you you can't, you should slap them. Because that's the first person that put the negativity in your mind. That's the first person that put the you can't in your mind. And you could do anything before that. You could do exactly what you told them you was going to do before they told you you can't. And then, what made it real bad, we stand there and we listen to why we can't. We let them explain to us why we can't. Instead of being good on the you can't and saying, okay, then you don't care, or you don't want it, you don't need to know. Then they say, well, you can't. You see that? So Cain can't, Abel can. Cain can't, Abel can. So we have the past where everything in now has already happened. So it already has to exist, be, was, is, and be in existence. So it already exists. So now, once we make this statement, everything already exists. Everything is, was, be, and exists. Then we move here to present. When we go to present, we realize that the present has already happened because everything that exists has already got to exist in order for the present to be. So this has already happened. Everything in the present that's happening, it had to happen. You know why? Because one cannot add to all, nor can one minus from all. We repeat, one cannot add to all, nor can one minus from all. So since one cannot add to all, and one cannot minus from all, one cannot add anything new in the present. One cannot have anything new, like now new, like no, and new, and unknown, I mean, you in? Yeah, those words are there for a reason. Like now, no, new as in you. Those words in the end were there in the beginning. Those words new were there in the beginning, and so shall they be there in the end. As now, new. As new, K-N-E-W. So we show that the present already has to be done happen. It couldn't be nothing new in the present. So the same would go for the future. The same thing would go for the future. The future would extend back here to the past because that's where the future came from. Because everything is in the past. It has to be because nothing can be added to the all. So in the future, much like the present, you still bound by the law. One cannot add to all, nor can one minus from all. We repeat, one cannot add to all, nor can one minus from all. So since one cannot do that, then they are bound by this law that the past contains all things. And the only thing the past doesn't contain is now. 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 And that's why time and space seem separated. I kicked my little thing right there. Let me straighten my cords out. Okay? That's why time and space seem like a continuum, or there also seems like a separation between time and then space, energy, and matter. Seem like a separate matter at times. So that's where you get this from. So this now shows you that these four exist. And they exist before past, before present, before future. And they exist after past, after present, after future. Did you catch that? And after past. See? This is quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum processing, and quantum thinking. So this is the way numbers work. Watch. Before past, before present, before future, after future, after present, after past, after now. See that? Let's do it again. Before past, before present, before future, after past. I think I said it wrong that time, but I'm going to get it right this time. After present, after past, before past. Okay, I think that's right. Y'all do the homework on that. Y'all do it, and then y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong. But that's how the quantum would work. So that's in dealing with these new times 1 and 1 times new. So then one has to assume the identity. And so what we're showing here is that new here is the true identity. And that 1 is the assumed number or the assumed value for new. But new is the real number there. New is the real amount. It's the real number controlling everything. So that's your introduction to new. Now, let me see if I got enough room anywhere to do this. I think we got enough room right here because we haven't seen this long enough. We'll do this right here. We'll do it right here. Let's see if we can show it. See, I showed this the other night in another way. I showed this in a way where I basically just said to the people, I said to the people, that N, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Okay. I said to the people that 0 divided by any number equals 0. And I said to the people, 0 divided by 0, of course, equals new. So 0 alienate N equals 0, and 0 alienate 0 equals new. And so then I said to the people, N alienate 0 equals 0 n. That's what I said. I said equals. So this became new, and this became and this became 0. And of course, the other reflection would be n divided by n equals 1. See that? 0 divided by 0 equals new. N divided by n equals 1. But n cannot extend to 0. N goes from 1, 2, 3, or from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But n cannot include 0. Whenever you do in mathematics, n is not 0. N is never 0. It becomes a contradiction. It becomes a contradiction because they can't divide by 0. With 0 as the denominator, or as the divisor, they can't divide by 0. So then, here we go. So then we have 1. We'll write a little bit further down. So we have 1. So we have 0, new, and 1. So this is what I showed the people. And then there are identities to these. There are identities to these. Like for instance, 0, I gotta write that a little bit bigger for y'all. 0 times n equals 0. With me. This identity 0 times n equals 0, I told the people, it's come from 0 times n equals 0. So it comes from checking that answer. It's called the reverse inverse rate. Reverse inverse rate. We even named it on the math section. So this 0 alienate n equals 0, and this is the reverse. 0 times n equals 0. See that? So the way I did it was perfect, because if we say it again, 0 times n equals 0, we'll be right. See? 0 times n equals 0. 0 times n equals 0. So we're good with that. We understand that the number 0 alienate n equals 0. That's correct. That's in the calculator. We can say 0 times n equals 0, and that would be correct. Or we could say 0 times n equals 0, and that would be correct. So either way we do it, we get correct answers. So now let's go here to new. 0 alienate 0 equals new. Say it again. 0. New is a little bit elongated, y'all. It's a little bit elongated number. If it was on the number line, you would have 0 written like that in the regular form, and then new would be the same height, but new would be longer than the number line. It would be longer. It would be actually longer than the other numbers. You see? So new is longer than the other numbers. Okay? So now, if we wanted to reverse inverse this number, reverse inverse, 0 alienate 0 equals new. If we want to do that backwards, then we go new times 0 equals 0. And we know this is true because any number times new equals that number. Any number times new equals that number. So we know this is true, that new times 0 or 0 times new is always going to be 0. So we think. Let's go. We enter in the quantum field. So new times 0 is not 0, y'all. It is not 0. And we didn't put the line here intentionally. New times 0, not 0. Now this is true. 0 times new is 0. But that's not the inverse opposite. That's not the inverse. That's not the inverse of that. We already got that over here. We already know that from over here. 0 times n equals 0. Even though n don't extend to new, We know that from the identity. So we got that. But what we want to understand is, or overstand is how this is special right here. How new is special. Because new times 0 does not equal 0. And so then now, that's 0, alienate 0 equals new. And then we say new, reverse inverse times 0 equals 0. So we got that. New times 0 equals 0. We can almost live with that. But what I want to show you this is, now we say 0 times 0 equals what? 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. So even though these 0 are equal to this 0, 0 equals 0, and 0 equals, they're not equivalent to this 0. These two zeros right here are not equivalent to the 0. This 0 is 0 squared. That 0 would be a square root. Like if I said 5 times 5 equals 25, then 5 is the square root of 25, or 5 is the square root of 25. So 0 is the square root of 0 squared, and 0 is the square root of 0 squared, because 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. So these numbers, although they appear equal, they are not equivalent. This number has a square on it, and that's very important, because now we see that 0 times 0 can produce a product, just like 0 divided by 0 can produce a product. See that? 0 times 0 produces 0 squared. So why is it such a mystery then if 0 divided by 0 can equal new? It shouldn't be a mystery. If 0 times 0 can equal a square, then surely 0 divided by 0 equals 1. Because when we look at the number line, and when we look at numbers, we see that any number, this could be infinity, any number divided by any number, that could be infinity, equals 1, equivalent to new. But any number, it'll equal new. You divide any number, infinity, any number n, it'll equal 1, and that number, 1, will eventually equal new. So this is what we know about this number. N divided by n equals 1. We know that about that number. And 0 divided by 0 equals new. We know that about this number. And we know we can connect these two numbers right here. Because new and 1 are almost similar. And then so we can also connect these two numbers. See this? Because that 0 over 0 is just like that infinity over infinity, or that n over n. It's just like those two. So then we see the reflexive value in 0 divided by 0 with n divided by n and the number new, and then the number 1. And even if we went out over to infinity, it would still be 1 equal to new. So now we know that all these numbers, be they on this line, the traditional number line, or be they on this new number line, all of the numbers converge at new and emerge from new. So we can see that. So now what we're looking at is, we see this number as a square, and we see that new times 0, we said that this number does not necessarily equal what you call 0. But we're going to move on. We're going to keep going, and we're going to just remember that. And so we're going to slide this over just a little bit, because that's a little too close. And I think that was n divided by 0 equals 0 n. Yep. That's what it was. It was un. And so we know that number is called un. So now what we want to do, we want to check it. We want to reverse, inverse, check it. We want to reverse inverse check it. So let's check it the right way first. N alienate 0 equals 0 n. So no matter what number we have up here, if we divide it by 0, it's going to be 0 that number. So let's just go through it one time. What if we had a 1 here? Then this n would change to 0, 1. And how would we say that? We would say 1 un, because this number is called un, and we put a 1 on it, so we get 1 un. So if this number was a 2, and we alienated it by 0, then we would get 0, 2. And we pronounce that number 2 un. And so we could go on and on with no matter what number we put here and divided by 0, it will give us a 0, that number, and we will call that number un. So now we can write infinity here. And we could say infinity divided by 0 is 0 infinity. That would be infinity un. So we have an actual number here for infinity, and we can use infinity in an equation, and we can actually count infinity. So infinity is not something that we do not know. Okay? Let me move this little thing on the screen right here. And quick cancel that. Okay. Okay. I'll leave that right there because okay. Let me see what that's saying. Okay. We'll leave that there because I don't want to click on nothing that's going to mess this up. But let me see. So we now can say infinity alienate 0 equals 0 infinity, or infinite on, or infinity on. So we can even use this number line using infinity because we're inclusive of infinity. There's nothing outside of your child's reach, nothing outside of his or her mind, only to grow, only to create and grow. So here we have n divided by 0 equals 0 n. So we can live with that. So now n alienate 0 is 0 n. So let's multiply that. Let's reverse inverse that. 0 on, that's un, 0 n. 0 n times 0 equals n. Yep. 0 n times 0 equals n. We can live with that. 0 times 0 is 0. N would carry over. N would be in the top. So we can live with that. And no matter what number we put there, it'll always check out. No matter what number we put there. Just like we did a few minutes ago. If we put a 7 here, 7 divided by 0 will give us 0, 7, or 7, 9. And if we wanted to multiply this times 0 and carry that, that would be 7, 9 times 0 would be 0 equals 7. Equals 7 every time. That's it. So if we put a 9 up there, a 10 up here, a 50, 100 even. Like I said, if we put infinity up there, let's put infinity up there. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's go crazy. Let's really do it. Infinity divided by 0. What do we get? 0 infinity. Infinity on. Let's multiply that. Infinity times 0 will give us back infinity. We will return to infinity. We will return to infinity. But now this raises the question. What is this outside of infinity? Because once we separate the zeros and we're left with infinity, what happens to that space? What happens to infinity? Is there something larger than infinity? That infinity is in? Yes. Facts. So now, let's go. Because remember, you have infinite time right? If you have infinite time, and let's go through a little bit of motions if we can linguistically remember. Let's say infinite, and then we'll say infinity. Infinity, then we'll say infinite, and then we'll say infinitesimal. That means infinitely small. This is infinite, which we'll say is infinitely thick. And then we'll say infinity, which is kind of denoting time, but it's still infinite. So it's kind of like saying forever or eternal, you know, kind of like heh, 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 heh. So then you get infinity, infinite, infinitesimal, and then you get words like infinitum. But then you get words like finite. Okay? And then that moves you to words like definite. To be definite or to define something. So undefined, defined. So you see, this is the linguistics. So this is what it leads you to by studying and asking a question and investigating infinity. You resolve finite, then you move to definite and define. You can now define infinity, and therefore you have a definition. Clear definition. Yeah. So you know how we do it. We'll link this 1, 2, 3, 4 to this 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. You know how we do it. So this is what we have here. So we link that, and so now we can define infinity. And so now we can use infinity as a tool in mathematics. It's no longer some spooky ghost like, whoa. There's no more of that. It's real mathematics here. We're really doing the big. So now we got n over 0 equals 0n every time. And so now we got this number 1. This is where the number 1 comes from. This is as close as you'll get to the real number 1. To the number 1, because this is the real number 1. But this is the identity of number 1. But as close as you'll get to the number 1 on the mathematical scale of number lines, and as close as you'll get, this is as close as you'll get to having a 1 in your hand. N divided by n equals 1. Now notice this though. Notice that, let me get mine going. Hey, beautiful lady. I'm doing a live stream. Happy and I'm here. Okay, come on in. How you doing, man? Okay, how was your day? Okay, you want to, hey, come. Please, say hi. Please, come on. Please, come on. You know what I'm saying? The people don't be looking for anything. You mad today? Okay. I tried to talk in Rahul back, but she's 12 years old, so I don't think she's going to do it. I don't think she want to do it. So, okay, so now, let's see. So we have to do the reverse inverse, okay? So this is the n at alienate 0 equals 0n. So now let's do this. 0 times 0 equals n. So we'll get n. So now remember that, keep that in mind, because that's the reverse inverse. So we're going to write the reverse inverse answer right here. 0n times 0 equal n. Wait a minute. I see something there. You see something there? I see something there. I see the law is broken. I see another law broken. I see the law. Outlaws. I see the law. Okay? So we have a number times 0, that's a number. I'm going to say that again. We have a number times, or a number multiplied by 0, and it's equal to a number. It's equal to a real number. What's going on here? So then, when we revisit this number nu times 0, and it not being 0, and 0 times 0 equal to 0 squared, what you have to focus on is this number in the denominator. See that number in the denominator? That's it. See this? When we say can't divide by 0, we're talking about this number. I better make that a negative sign. Let's do that. That's the star right there. And then focus on this denominator. Focus on this denominator. Look at this denominator. Look what it does. Look at this denominator right there. Look what this denominator does. Okay, so if you look at the denominator, we say you can't divide by 0. So if you look at the denominator, you see right here that you got 0 and the 0 alienate n equals 0. So this is not a 0, so this is no problem. Because you can divide by n with 0 as the numerator and n as the denominator. But according to them, you could not put 0 in the denominator and then divide, alienate. You can't do that. That's against the law. That would break the rules of mathematics, and that's exactly wrong. We won't break the law, we'll fulfill the law. Okay? So now 0 alienate n equals 0. We can live with that because that's 0 times n, or 0 times n. So each time n is in the denominator spot or in the, what's this? What is it called? The multiplication. So it's in the multiplication spot. We'll say n is in the multiplier spot. So n is in the multiplier spot. So, because we're going to multiply 0 times n. So, here we go. So, it's there and it's here. See that? It's in the secondary spot position. Be it whether it's alienation, division, or whether it's multiplication or times. N is in the secondary spot. Now, 0 is in the denominator as well. And each time we look, 0 is in the secondary spot. Supersymmetry, y'all, supersymmetry. When we take a look at this one, n alienate 0 equals on. We see the 0 here, though, in this secondary spot. But 0 here is not in the secondary spot. It's in the secondary spot. N is in the secondary spot. N is in the secondary spot. Because 0 is in this top position. 0 right here is in this top position. And 0 is always the result in this position. So 0 is dominant in this pair. 0 is the dominant right here. So now, when we look at this, 0 divided by 0, it equals nu. So then this nu, don't forget to thumb up the video, like the video, please. So then this nu times 0 equals some other number, because now 0 is no longer in its first position. 0 has switched its position to this second position here. So now this 0 is not the same as this first 0. I'm going to say that again. This 0 and this row of zeros in the second position is not the same as these zeros in this first position. These zeros here are saying 0 times some number. And even if this was 0 times 0, like right here, these two zeros are not the same. That's why they have two different names, a multiplier and a multiplication, or vice versa. So when we get right here, this 0 is not the same as either one of these two zeros. We have three different types of zeros here. This is a 0 times. This is a 0 that's multiplied by. This is a 0 times. This is a 0 that's multiplied by. And this is the solution 0 equal to a square. So these are totally different numbers. They cannot be treated or looked at the same. 0 times a number, that's one type of 0. Times 0, that's one type of 0. Equals 0, that's another type of 0. So we got three different types of zeros right here. And then we have this 0, which is like this 0. And we have this 0, which is like this 0, but not the same. And so now we have this number nu times 0. And it's creating a number that's not 0 and not the same. So now when we go over here to on, we can expect some changes. Now that we can now comprehend, now that we can now see the light, now that we can now see this, we can see that these type of zeros in the top position are different than zeros in the second position and different than zeros in the solution position. So now when we say 0 divided by 0, we can say, whoa, this is top position 0 and this is bottom position 0. So they're different in the reverse inverse. So then this 0 is going to be in the reverse inverse, and then this 0 is going to become the solution. You see that? This 0 is going to become the solution. But this 0 has something added on to it, being a solution. It's no longer the same as that top 0, because that top 0 was in the first place. It wasn't a solution. This 0 is equal to something. So this tells us something about numbers. I know that's a lot, but you're going to have to play it back and you're going to have to grasp that this 0 is still not the 0 in our numerator, because this 0 is on the other side of an equal sign and this 0 is not. So now, when we go here, we're going to say 1 times 0 equals 0. And it appears that we can say 1 times 0 equals 0. But I'm telling you already, even though this looks pretty, this is not 0 when you go back. Okay? This is quantum. I'm telling you, that's not 0 when you go back. It's 0 here going this way, but it's not 0 when you go back. It's something else on the other side of the equal sign. Solution numbers, numbers that equal something, are different. Like, for instance, this number equals 0 squared. You see that? This number already equals 0. So if you already got one type of 0, 0 times the number equals 0, then how can that be the same as 0 times 0? It's not, because 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. So then, would you expect that a number nu times 0 to be the same as 0? No, because over here, both of these zeros are a result of 0 being in the first place, and that's a number in the second place. At this point, this is a number in the first place and 0 in the second place. So we put a number in the first place times 0, we may not result back in 0. Okay? So now, let's finish that. So this was 0 in the denominator, and 0 in the denominator, and 0 in the denominator. So then those were those zeros. And notice here, we have nu as the solution. We have 0 here as the solution, and then we have 0 squared here as the solution. So that's 100, or 100, if you will, if you number 0, or 1 some number 0. But in either case, this number 100 squared, this number is not like this number 000 and 100 squared. This is 3 different numbers right there, and this is 3 of the same number. Okay, so then when we get back over here, we say on times 0, the reverse inverse, equals n, and that will check out. We can see that on times 0 will equal n. We can see that. We can check that out. So now what we want to do is say this the reverse inverse then. On times 0 equals n. So like I said, it's our first clue of a number, some number being multiplied times 0 is not 0. This is our first clue of a number nu being multiplied times 0 is not 0. Okay? Okay? And it's not new neither. It can't be new because new is identity. And anything times new is that number. So now, what number is that? Because now we're breaking rules. We got anything times new equals that number, and this 0 is times new. So what number is this? What number is this? We're missing something. What number is this? Is this number really 0? That's the question. That's where we start to punish. And then we say, n, n, because we're doing this right here. We're saying n times 0 equals Okay? That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. We're saying n times 0 equals n times 0 equals what? Let's do that again. Let's do that again. That's beautiful. Like I said last shadow hour, I get straight up excited about mathematics. I get excited when the math do that. When I know I'm showing that, and I know that the children of the future are going to be able to understand mathematics and quantum sciences off the muscle. That's the base of mathematics. That's where we just starting at. This is just the start. We got so many things to show you about mathematics, about counting, about numbers, about number lines, about graph lines, about measurements, about money, about mail, email, cryptography, prime numbers, phi, pi, Fibonacci, Pythagorean theorems. We have so much stuff to show you. It's off the chain. Analytic continuations, asymptotics, meromorphic functions, holomorphic functions, just everything that you ever wanted to know about the universe, about space, time, energy, matter, nature, the universe. Nature and the universe, watch this. Yeah, nature and the universe. What's n plus u? Nu. And what's the universe plus nature? It equals un. So this is sort of like what we're working with right here. If you're going to understand n plus u equals nu, and u plus n equals un, then you may be able to grasp this. You may be able to grasp that. If you're going to understand n plus u equals nu, and u plus n equals un, then you can start to say that you can say that, yo, I grasp that. I grasp that. I grasp that. I get it. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So this is un times, no, I apologize. That's n. Wait, nope. I'm right. Let's get it right. We're doing the reverse inverse first. We're doing the reverse inverse first. We're doing the reverse inverse first because we did the reverse inverse here, and then we did the reverse inverse here because that's 0 times n equals 0, reverse inverse, and nu times 0 equals that number. That's the reverse inverse. And so here we're going to do the reverse inverse. So we got to say on times 0 equals n. And that's where we go. And then we need to say that now we got to do the inverse. And the inverse is simply n times 0 equals n. Inverse is the inverse of division, because alienation. Because when we alienate this, we say n alienate 0, or n divided by 0 equals n. So then now we have to say n multiplied, n times 0 equals n. So let's go. So n times 0 equals n. This is the number that we've been trying to get to. Okay? This is the number that we've been trying to get to. This number is a very special number because this number appears on your regular number line and you've never seen it. It ain't like new. This number is a part of all of your mathematics and it's always been there. Look at that. N times 0 equals n. How can we arrive at that number? That number, this number means any number times 0 is going to equal 0 in that number. That's what that means. That means that you can say 1 times 0 and it'll be 0, 1. 2 times 0, it'll be 0, 2. 3 times 0, and it'll be 0, 4. You see that? This is supersymmetry, superposition. This is supreme mathematics. Okay? So, this is very important. Because when we look at this number now, 1 times 0 equals that. And we come here and we say 1 times 0 equals 0. That's not 0. That's this number. That's another form of AND. Or you could write it like this right here. Okay? You see that? See that? Because so now, that's how that number would look. We write that form of AND like this. Because it's a result, it's a reverse result of something. It's a solution. 1 times 0 equals. At that point, it's a solution. It's a solution 0. It's no longer a 0 that's a multiplier or a multiplicator. It's no longer a numerator nor a divisor. It's something different. It's a number, it's a product, it's a sum, it's a square, it's a square root. It's something that is not the same 0. So now you know you have two different forms of what you call 0. This 0 and this 0. And then on top of that, you have AND. And then on top of that, you have 0 squared. Then on top of that, you got the square root of 0. Then on top of that, you got just a regular 0. So these are the zeros that your child would begin to comprehend and put in their minds. And then as we move into the new mathematics, when we get ready to show new mathematics, those zeros will become the basis of what we build the future on. They'll become the basis of what we build computers on. They'll become the basis of what we build our foundation and everything on. Those types of zeros. Those will become things to us. They no longer be nothing. Okay? So, we have one more to go. And let's put out this. Let's say this. Caveat, disclaimer, warning, whatever you want to call it. Notice. Declaration, we declare. I'm telling you this. That the things you're seeing right here have never been shown to anybody before. The things you hear right here have never been heard by ears before. You can go Google, you can go to a lodge, you can go to a church, you can go to a library, you can go to a university, college, it don't matter. You can go to an organization, association, it really doesn't matter. I'm telling you that this information is divinely inspired and this information is from the Most High, on high. So now, n divided by n. N divided by n equals what? All day. But is this just one though? Is this just one? Well, all we need to do to figure that out, I know we haven't done the plus and minus inverse because add and minus are inverse to each other like multiplication and division are inverse to each other. And we really just doing the multiplication and the division. We're really just doing multiplicative and divisional or alienated inverses. But what we're really wanting to see is the interaction between them all. So we can get back to that another day. So if there's anybody out there that see that, then know that I see that too. Okay? So now, we'll say 1 times n equals n. Because anything times 1 equals that number. 1 times n equals n. We got it. There we go. 1 times n equals n. Easy enough. We don't have no problem with that. That's easy for us. But let's see. Let's do the inverse. Because that's the reverse inverse called a check. Tell your children, when I say n alienate n, that means division. N divided by n. N alienate n equals 1. We could say order of 1. My order, we could say order of 1. So we could say n alienate n, order is 1. Not equals 1, order of 1. Okay? Operation 1. Okay? Operates as 1. So n divided by n equals 1. And so then we do the reverse inverse, 1, and the reverse is because we're going backwards. And the inverse is because we're using the multiplication. So again, n divided by n equals 1. We say n divided by n equals 1. And then we're going back the other way, reverse, but we're not saying divided, we're doing the inverse symbol, so it's the reverse inverse. 1 times n equals n. And then when we do the simple inverse, we simply just using the multiplication sign right here instead of the alienate or division sign, we just saying n times n equals 1. So then already here, you have 3 entanglements. But it's many more. It's entanglements that we could bring around here. You see? It's all types of entanglements that we can entangle that in with the way we ask the question. According to what question we ask and what numbers we use. Let me get some new ones. We got plenty of them. I think it's want to use all the ones you got though. And then the other thing is, it wets the board. So then not only do you have to use a wet one, you have to use a dry one to fix that up. So now, our next one is n times n. And we know this is going to equal n squared. That's going to equal n squared every time. N squared. So then, the same thing would work for infinity. Infinity squared. We have 1 times infinity equals infinity, which is strange. And then we have infinity times infinity equals infinity squared. So we can actually multiply, divide, add, subtract. We can do everything we want with infinity. Please thumb up. Please press love. Please send a flower. Please post I like it. Please show that I'm learning. Post a light bulb. Show some love. Okay? So now, let me see. Is that in the camera, y'all? Let me see, people. Is that in the camera? Is that all in the camera? Let me see. Yeah, it looks like we got it all. Yeah, we got it all. So we have n times n equals n squared. N squared. So we can see the correlation between 0 squared and n squared. Because this is a number divided by itself, and this is a number divided by itself. This number equals nu, which is equivalent to 1. So we can see 1 times 0 equaling that number, and 1 times n equaling n. And we can see that 0 times 0 equals 0 squared, and n times n equals n squared. So therefore, we can prove that this number is the real identity of 1, and this number on is the real identity of 0. Because here we have the inverse of 0, well, not the inverse, but the reverse of 0, alienate n, and then we have n alienate 0. And here we have 0 times n and 0 times n. And here we have a little bit of a change. Unlike 1 times 0 and 1 times n, the n and the 0 make the difference. The 0 here makes the difference than the n. And the 0 square makes the difference than the n square and the n. So here, the difference is the fact that these two are reversed. These two are unalike, but they two are the same alienation. They have the same alienation. But these two are reversed. So they polarize, they adverse against the nation, against the alienation. They adverse in alienation. So they come from an adverse universe. So now, so this number 0 n, 0 alienate n, and n alienate 0. This number 0 times n equals 0, and then this number on 0 n times 0 equals n. This number contradicts this scheme over here. It's adverse to this scheme. So this number introduces a new paradigm into this scheme. Not only just reversing, but it also introduced a new paradigm this way. It introduces a new number. It says that this n over 0 equals on. And so now this on is going to replace this 0. And this on is going to be the real number. This on is going to replace this 0. This on is going to replace this 0. And this on is going to be the real number because it's the real part. It's actually dealing with physical numbers. Over here, this is just dealing with 0, 0, 0. Although it's multiplied by n, the result is always 0, 0, 0. And those are trivial. We want to deal with the non-trivial. We can see that this will always be 0. And not only that, this is what they would call infinity. This would be the 0 in the number. This would be the 0 number. This ain't even the 0 in the number. This would be the 0 number. That's why all numbers go to 0. But we ain't talking about those numbers that's going to 0. We talk about numbers that's going beyond 0. See? We talk about numbers that go beyond 0. See? What? -1, 0, beyond 0. -1, beyond 0, beyond 0. Because 0 is here, beyond 0, beyond 0. We're talking about numbers 0 is here, beyond 0. Up, above, and beyond 0. We're talking about those type of numbers. So this number, although it's very important, and it sets the stage for 0 identity, 0 divided by any number, and 0 times any number, and 0 times any number, reverse or inverse, it sets the stage for itself. It says that 0 plus n equals n. It says that 0 minus n equals negative n. So then it says that 0 alienate n equals 0. And 0 multiplied by n equals 0. So then you get n and 0, 0. Okay? So that's important to know, that you get n and 0, 0. Because over here you have n over n. And right here you have 0, 0. And right here you have n, 0. And that came from 0. You see that? So that's why that's important. And there is no way that I honestly feel that could be taught. I honestly feel like a person would have to address the inner being and ask for that kind of knowledge. Because otherwise it'll remain a parable in a person's mind. But not in the child's mind. A child can grasp stuff like that because they're not set on time being linear. Okay? So now, all of these numbers right here, 0 alienate n equals 0, 0 reverse inverse, 0 times n equals 0, 0 times n equals 0 in the inverse, 0 alienate 0 equals nu times 0 equals this special number right here, and 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. These numbers are all special to this area that we're talking about between 1 and 0, and between 1 and 0 and 0 and nu. And then on the plane up above that, on the plane below that, and this plane outside here, anywhere in the universe, we can define anywhere in the universe. Once we combine these two number lines, we can figure anywhere in the universe. And so we have that information that's contained between the 1, 0, 1 and the un, 0, nu. Un, nu, un. And so, where are we? So let's erase a little bit. Okay. Now, back to where we were. So we kind of show this for the 0, but we completely expressed it in this form. We kind of showed that for the 0, but we kind of expressed it in that form because we wanted, like I said, we wanted the definition, we wanted to define it, we wanted, to get it right. We wanted to understand infinity, infinite, infinitesimal, and the finite, along with the definition, the define. Okay? So now, where we go? Okay, so let's try this. Un equals 0. We got nu equals 1. We're going to try that, okay? Let's try that. Let's let un equal n, and let's let 1 be the 0, okay? We're going to let that happen. And it's not really going to equal that. It's just going to serve its purpose on that scale. Is that on that scale? Un equals 0, right? Yeah. Okay, un equals 0. Because un can equal something else if we wanted to, because we got any number here. So we don't necessarily have to say un equals 0. We can say un equal any number, and then we would have to come up with these variables, where they get variables, which is a brand new mathematics. Which is a brand new, another form of mathematics. And we got other forms of mathematics, and other forms of mathematics, and other solutions to problems. We really need y'all help. Family, where y'all at? Why y'all dead on this now? I remember when I'm still am, doing the Sundance, family. And didn't nobody support us on the Sunday because they said, oh, that ain't real. And then I have a guy named Lawrence Lee Taylor Jr. come on my Facebook page today, and he says to me, yesterday, he says to me, is this information from Dr. York? This is the supreme mathematics of the number 19. This information is from Dr. York, being Dr. York is my teacher, my savior, my guide, and a father to me. It's from Dr. York insofar as I'm forever after the order of Melchizedek. It's from Dr. York insofar as I'm a disciple, a student, an initiate, and a son of Dr. York. He's like a father to me. It's from Dr. York insofar as I was touched by the angel, Michael, Murdoch, Melchizedek, Yanu, whatever you want to call him. Panabab, Yanana. I was touched by that being physically and bestowed with gifts. Physically. So when you ask me, is this information from Dr. Malachi Z. York, I'll tell you this. Read the book of Revelation, and everything the real Messiah will teach is the same thing that the master teacher teaches. And the same people that follow the master teacher will follow the real Messiah. Point blank, period. So now, on equals 0. So we want to do on times 1. So as we walking, we deal with evidence, experience, and reason. We don't deal with talk about ego, conjecture, or no type of stupidity like that. Because by the very person saying that I have an ego, that very person is actually the one with the ego. Because the word ego, according to the Holy Tablets, chapter 7, the living soul, it tells you that the ego is the self-arrogating aspect of a person. Let me say that again. The ego is the self-arrogating aspect of a person that continuously compares itself to other people. People should put that definition of the word ego in their heart and on their tongue and in their mind so that they never lose focus again, so that nobody can ever abuse them with the word ego again. Okay, let me say it again. Ego is the self-arrogating aspect of a person that continuously compares itself to other people. So when a person continuously compares themselves to others or compares others to others, like he says, is that information from Dr. York? Then he's comparing the information he sees to what he thinks he sees from Dr. York. That's his ego at work. That's the self-arrogating aspect of him that continuously compares himself to others or others to others. That's him. That's the ego. Let me tell you what the master teacher taught us about ego. The master teacher told us that ego is a part of ether. And that ego is a part of you. You notice that I said ego is the self. See, in mathematics, is equal. Ego is the self. I apologize. Or the sovereign, right? The self, the sovereign. Right? Ego is the self. But it's the arrogating aspect of a person that continuously compares. So we'll just take that apart. See, we mathematicians, so we'll just say arrogating aspect. And then it continuously compares. So then we'll just say continuously compares. Self to others and others to others. They continuously compare each other. Michael Jordan against Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant against LeBron. Shaq against Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan against Robert Parrish. It's just always this comparison, this duality, triality, This whole thing. Okay? That's what people built on. So tell people that it's their own ego. Tell them, first of all, add this word in, narcissistic. Tell them, say, stop being so narcissistic. It's your own ego that is the self-arrogated aspect of your own self, continuously comparing yourself to me and me to others. That's your ego. Tell them, say, that's your ego. Lawrence Lee Taylor Jr., that's your ego. And you pretend to want to knock me and push me or pull me down in order to pull yourself up. My mom taught me about people like you, low life, snakes in the grass. You never put another person down in order to pull yourself up. Don't do that. You do your work and I'm doing my work. I don't come on your page. I've never been on your page. I don't know you. I've never said anything to you. But yet you continuously come back and back to my page. And every time you come back like an old hound with a tail between your legs, I let you come back on my page in the name of Milwaukee, in the name of brotherhood. And then you come back on my page and you slander me. So that's going to be over because I'm going to block you. Okay? Because that don't make no sense. People ain't my brother if they don't treat me that way. I give you information. I give you knowledge. I ask a question. I help you out. And then whenever you get the chance to cutthroat or undercut me, you do that. You do just that, and several other people along with you. So no, it's not going to work. I'm not limited to teaching anything in a book. I'm not limited to repeating anything anybody said. Okay? I decided long ago never to walk in any man's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed. See that? I'm gonna do this thing. So that's not something that I'm interested. That's not something that I'm really interested in. That's what I'm saying. I'm not interested in arguing over what I know to be the truth. Now we can debate over things if you want to debate over history or you want to debate over this, but we don't debate mathematics. There's no mathematical debates. You've never seen a mathematical debate. There's no mathematical debate. Mathematics is proof. So if you come up with a proof and you put out a volume of mathematics like I have, or you sit back and you shut up and you listen and you learn. Okay? Because let me tell you something. All teachers should be stern. And if you need a weak teacher, then you are not here for me. You are here for you. So leave. I don't have to conform to anybody's way or anybody's thought processes. You already know the mind book, Milwaukeeans. Why would I be who you think I should be? Why would I be who I think I am? When I know better. When I know better. I know the triune me. And I know the quality. I know the quantity and the quality and the quantum of me. So why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I be anything other than who I am? Why would I try to be anything other than me? Why would I try to be a Messiah? Why would I try to be number one? Why would I try to be Matatron? Why would I try to be anything? Who can try to be anything? It's all about the works and the deeds. My works speak for themselves. Anything I say I am, I'm that because I got the work to prove it. I got the receipts, as they say in the conscious community. I got receipt after receipt. Want to see my receipts? Receipts. Receipt, 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 receipt. That's supposed to be respected in the community. That's not supposed to be kicked down. That's not supposed to be called arrogance. Where y'all get that from, man? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. You don't say stupid, it means stunted and broke. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. It's the most ignorant thing I ever seen. York says ignorance means to ignore. I'm not calling you names. You see, when people learn to speak correctly in Nuwapic and in English, then we can hold the conversation. Otherwise, you're going to take offense to correction and call it name calling. You're going to take offense to the word I don't even want to say it because I already said the N word. Now if I say another word, they're gonna say that's a curse word, and I'm gonna say that's not cursing. That's called profanity of anything, and it's less than nothing is vulgar. And if you don't like it, close your ears and your eyes, and then all that kind of conversation start. The same one that Dr. Malachi York gave everybody. It came up. I'm thinking like that. I think like that. Whoever told y'all newcomers that that Dr. York was some pushover type of a man, some type of man that you can come and run his class, or you don't come and say what you want. No, the brothers will expel you. You will be detailed, hauled out of there real quick for disrespect and not knowing where you at. Period. And that's how it works. So you never disrespect the Hierophant. In the Sacred Wisdom it says, until the people learn to respect the Hierophant. You see? So don't do that. You respect your brother. I'm your brother, Lawrence Lee Taylor Jr. I'm your brother. You respect your brother. You respect what I'm doing. I'm a Nuwapian. I claim to be a Nuwapian. I say Dr. York is my teacher. Why would you come and step on anything I do and not know what I'm doing? Even if you see or think it's wrong, you have no right and no business to interfere with my works when I'm saying that I'm a Nuwapian. I'm for Dr. Malachi York. I value him. He my teacher. He my guide, my savior, my friend, a father to me even. All over my internet. Not even my avatar is him. So y'all better ask yourself, who are the real Nuwapians? Question what they doing and what's their motive. Why would you attack a brother that's teaching mathematics? Oh, because I got taught by Dr. York, I can't come up with nothing new of my own? I can't create my own? I can't become like the master? I can't become a master? So I need to stay in my student mind and not in my God mind? Oh, let me explain to you something. In the Sacred Wisdom, the God mind, this is the God mind. Let me show you what the God mind is. Let me show you what they don't want you to know. This is why they want you to get rid of it. That's the God mind. The God mind is ego. That's the God mind in the Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti. That's the ego. So now, in the Holy Tablets, Dr. Malachi York explained, the way you can corral and control, notice the word corral, because it's a beast, chattel property, you put it in a corral. It's a beast. It is. But it's a wonderful beast when you control it. It's a wonderful beast. It won't allow you to be enslaved. Your ego mind will not allow you to be enslaved. You're too good for that. You're too uppity for that. You're too sedity for that. Yeah, your bloodline too royal for that. It's too royal for this slave. That's my ego. I'm too good for this. I'm too good for that. I'm not a slave. I wasn't brought on no ship. That's the exercise of real ego, positive ego. Do that to defend yourself. It's called psychic self-defense. It's a part of mental transmutation and alchemy. Listen to me. Hear what I'm saying. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to mislead you. I'm telling you the truth, and you know it. These are the truths, and I'm the truth. The reason why I'm the truth is because I'm speaking the truth. That's what makes a person the truth. When you're able to speak the truth. And they're not able to speak the truth because they don't know the truth. They didn't know the truth was a person, so they couldn't speak the truth. So they can't speak on behalf of the truth, for the person of the truth. Only the person that knows the truth as a person can speak on behalf of the truth or speak the truth. So don't let somebody come in and create dissension and division among us unless we're going to grow new, unless they're going to divide zero and produce something. Don't let them come in here and just tell you, just make a one-word statement, and a brother done taught a volume of information, and then they come in with a one-word statement. Oh, I ain't saying that. Oh, some one sentence phrase or something, or ego, or lame, or jive, or don't listen, or Doc didn't say that, or anything to try to take away from all, and you can't do it. It's a door that's been opened that you can't shut because you don't have enough strength. Okay? So this is what's happening here. It's a door open and you can't shut it because you don't have enough strength. Okay? So I'm your brother that has new information. Dr. York never said, oh, I'm the end all, be all. I'm numero uno. I'm the last one you'll ever see. You'll never see another master enter this realm at all. I'm the last master that enters. In fact, I'm the only master on this realm. Did you ever hear Dr. York say that? No. He said, when I came, in Revelation 6:13. Go read it for yourself. When I came along with 28 others. There's 29 of us in all. We were called Bennett when we crossed the sky. And we came to the planet Earth, all of us as masters. Some seen, some unseen, but we all had a job. We all had work to do. This is what he's telling you. And when the masters arrive, when they incarnate, you want to still call me Dante. You know you sound like a fool. You want to still call me the old one, the dude that you knew from before. You see that? That don't make sense. For the same reason why you can read in your potential book, in books like the mine, but you can read stories about a man who becomes a musician. He's a famous musician. He's very good at it. And later on, he's an alcoholic at Radio City Music Hall. But it's the same dude. But is it? Is it the same dude? The other dude was a very professional dude. He was rich. He was a professional singer. He was gifted. He was talented. His fingers didn't shake. He wasn't an alcoholic. His liver wasn't going to, being rotted. He wasn't an alcoholic. This dude was a healthy man. But when I seen him at Radio City Music Hall, this dude was on his deathbed and barely able to hold a straw. This is not the same man. I didn't even recognize him. You see? So then do that on behalf of your brothers and sisters in the spiritual realm. Do that on behalf of your brothers and sisters. Know that we might have been the dude at Radio City Music Hall, but we moving in the reverse because that was the job of the master teacher. He came here to teach. And teach who? He came here to teach us. And teach us what? Teach us this so that we'll learn. What else could he have came to teach us? And what else do you have to show that he taught you? Show me something that I can't find on Google. Show me something that I can't find in a book. Show me something that somebody ain't already told you. Show me something that's outside of a university or a lodge or online library or whatever. Just show me something new. Show me something other than this. And I'm with you. But other than that, we should be, as Nuwapians, teaming up to actually receive this information and in order to actually gain this knowledge. And in actuality, to do what we have to do. Because the knowledge is here for us to utilize it in that way. I talked to some very special brothers, and we were talking about that. About the utilization and the application of Nuwapu. That too is a Zahuti. Read it. Read it 1,000 times if you have to. Read it. It's a very important book. And I was telling the brothers that, that this is the utilization and the application of Nuwapu. That's what this is. We have to utilize, when we say supreme mathematics in the number 19, if all it means to you is a Bible code, or that, it's 19 in the books, and Panabat Yanun is the number 19th elder, and, it's the 19 Quran, and all of the stuff that's all, if that's all it means to you, then go reread the Quran, where Dr. Malachi Z. York writes in the Quran, in the introduction, where he has the 101 mathematical code, the 109 mathematical code, the 10-9 mathematical code, and he also has the what was I about to say? Go look in there, and he explains that the number 19 is the best that the Most High has to give. He explains that. Read else Holy Quran chapter 4 in the original order, wrong order chapter 74. Read these things for yourself and see what's being said about the number 19, and see, is it a test? See, is it a guidance? See, is it a test to see if those who learn know, and those who didn't learn didn't know. Don't let other people judge this for you. Judge it for yourself. This is your test. This is your life. This has nothing to do with anybody else. You're not going to be able to blame other people and say, oh, well, he was the head of the lodge. He told me this. She was the head of that. She was the head of the sorority. She was the head of it. She was the mother of it. You're not going to be able to do that. That's no excuse. Truth is truth. And you are guided by truth. You walk in the truth. You don't do that. You don't walk in the lie. You don't walk on a lie. You don't hold on to people just because they're your friend. Just like you didn't hold on to family members when you found out the truth. Don't hold on to cliques. Don't hold on to that. Move on. Come to the truth. Come toward the light. Don't let them tell you that there's no such thing as a good life. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be no such thing as Al Munir. It wouldn't be no such thing as Yanun. The name Nun means 50, and it also refers to light. Nun. So don't let nobody tell you that. There's no such thing as evil and good. Those are dualities or polarities or something. Read the sacred wisdom. Don't let no new book or no new information contradict these things. These things are known since time immemorial. And the test is on you. If something come out that contradicts the truth that you've already been given, like Yahshua said, hold on to you when I'm with you. Hold on to those things, because you will be tested. Hold on to the things that Dr. Malachi gave us when he was with us, because we will be tested. Okay? There is one prophecy to come. In the book of Revelations, in your own book, written for HTL, it tells you that somebody would come and be born in the year 2007. That somebody would be born in that year, born in that day, and they would be an Elohim. Look it up. Don't believe me. Call this doctrine, call this knowledge old and outdated if you want to. But this is new knowledge and new information. And that's exactly why it was given in that order. That's exactly why this information was given to me. So for the people that would say that it's old, for the people that would deny my word, for the people that would deny the spirit, for the people that would deny the existence of the Most High, for the people that would deny and cover the truth, for the people that would conceal the facts, for the Kafirun, for all those people like that, for the Mukabazim, for all those people, they would be liars, they would be false, they would be posers, they would try to mislead you and misguide you and redirect you to some other path when you have the truth right in front of you, when you see the truth right in front of you, when you have it. Do you think that a person like myself could dream all this up by myself? Thank you for that much credit. That's the same thing the master teacher used to tell people. You think I could just make all this up? Do you think I could just think of all this myself? Do you think all this just came through me and I'm just a liar? It just made all this up. A new mathematics just made it up. New numbers just came right out the wrong place in my body. Just everything, just all made up. It don't mean nothing. It ain't nothing but a bunch of scribble on the board. It don't matter if he proved every paradox. It don't matter if he introduced every new number. It don't matter if he showed the correlation between the number 19 and the number pi. It don't matter if he proved the universe to you. You're still in denial. And that's why I'm not here for that. I'm here for the select few, the 144,000 who can recognize the truth when the truth has been spoken. That's the only people I'm here for. Everybody else, you're on your own. So now, we were saying, so don't let nobody ego trip and have you follow along with them because they ego tripping. Because they point it out. They love to stand on the outside of the fight and say, oh, look at them niggas. They crazy. Why are they fighting? Now, it could be one fool that attacked one person and the other person is only defending themselves. But both of them look like fools. And you going to call both of them a fool when you know one person attacked the other person? No, you're a fool for standing there watching the attack on the other person. And you're a fool for standing there saying that the person is a fool when you know who the fool is that did the attack. So there are two fools. It's the fool that did the attack, and it's the fool that's calling the person that was innocent a fool. So let's know that lies and unreasonable statements said against us will be broken up and will be mathematically decoded and will be expressed to the people. And you will be shown for the liar and proven for the evil that you are and that you do. You will be shown for that. Because, you know, there's no reason to try to hurt something like this with your own ego. So don't do that. Don't do that again. Don't do that to me, to my family, to the community, to none of the people that's trying to free and help Dr. Malachi Zero, to any of us that value his life. Don't do that, because you are, you know, and I don't want to, you know what you are. We have a book called On That Black Devil. So you know what you become when you do that. So don't do that. I'm working on behalf of Dr. Malachi Zero. I would like to help Dr. Malachi Zero. My fund, my nonprofit is about people that's in prison. My funds and stuff like that will go towards the freedom of Dr. Malachi Zero. In the process of doing that, we should build a library and a museum. An example of that is on the Navajo Reservation. It's called the Peterson's Art Museum. He's still alive, Peterson's Art, and he has a museum honoring his name. And it's a museum and library. So I think we should have a museum and law library, along with a regular library. We should have one to preserve every book and all of the information that upon the back of your name, Dr. Malachi Zero brought to us, and the information he gave us to preserve his legacy and to preserve it in a place, in a proper place. Not just in our hearts, tongues, and minds, but in a proper place. Okay? We should preserve that. We should let the dead body lie in the street. All of the scriptures. We should let them die in the street, okay? We should let them lie in the street. That's in the book of Revelation too. Read your book of Revelation chapter 11. Don't let it just lie in the street. Don't let the truth lie like that. Go pick the truth up and don't cover it. Go use it. It ain't dead. The truth can't die. They can't kill the truth. Remember that. Okay? So now we'll finally get to it. We want to do this, like we did that. So 0 equals, on, because it's the real identity, equals 0. And then we'll say, what's that? N times 1. So then we'll have to go, how we do this. Let me see how we untangle this now. We're saying it's easy as it looks, trust me. So if we could build from the top down too. Let's build from the top down, I think. Let's see how we build from the top down. Only thing we gotta do is look at the symmetry though. Because you can see, you could just look at the symmetry. We can see new right here. And we see new right here. So then if we say on is gonna be new, then we'll just put on in new's place. So we'll say on in new's place right here. On is a new place. Then we'll say 0 is n or 1. So then we'll put 0 or n in that place. So then we can put on times n. We'll put on times n because we have a 1 in n and a new in n and a 1 in n, and then we have a 1 in new interaction. See that? We have let's erase this so you can probably see how little the application space. We have a 1, this combination. And then we have these two combinations. So that's what I was showing over there. So keep up with me. These little symbols and stuff that I be drawing, they just show symmetry. Now right there, when you see this, that shows symmetry. Don't let that escape you. When you see that right there, those are major numbers there. What just fell, it looked like mine. Something just fell. A negative. Oh, no, I think that was from new. I think that was exactly from new. At the top, I think that was from new. So we'll use it right there too then. Handy dandy. Okay? So now, all right, might have been, did we have a negative 0? No, we took the negative 0 now. Okay, so now, so we started right here, so we got on and n. So we're going to make this on and 0. Because you right if you're thinking that way. You're right. I hear y'all thinking in the heat. Y'all like, no, you're wrong there. If this is an N and 1 combination, and this is a new N combination, then this is a new and 1 combination, then we get over here, then this will have to be an on and 0 combination, and then this will have to be a 0 times on combination, and then this will have to be an on times N combination, and this will have to be an N times on combination, and this will have to be N. It'll have to be a 0. Wait, I'll get confused with N. This would be a 0 times N equal combination. And then this would be a N times, this is wrong, y'all, 0 combination. This is wrong because remember, we got the adverse inverse. So now, what we got to do, we got to show because this is the untanglement. This is the untanglement. Remember this? This is 0 times N, and this is 0 times N. And so this is N times 0, which equals on. And this is 0 times N, which equals 0. And what we have is on and 0. So this is absolutely correct. Actually, it is absolutely correct. This is absolutely correct, actually, because we have 0 times N over here. But we have one problem. Because we have N times 0, and we have on times N, on times 0, 0 times on, N times on. So we will have, let's go through the motions then. Let's go through the motions. You're watching real mathematics. On times 0 equal N. We already know that from over there and down there. On times 0 equals N. 0 times on though. And that's what we wanted to get at. 0 times on. We're going to leave this one here because this is something we're going to get at. And then we got on times N. So you really don't know what this number is. And so when we say on times N, then we will actually multiply. We'll multiply N times N. So let's say if this was 5 times 5, then this would be 25. So then this would be N squared, and then this number 0, I can't, okay, at this point, I can't really show you what happens with the 0 because it pertains to the actual formula in the mathematics. I don't even apologize for that. I can't show you the 0 because it pertains to my actual formula in my mathematics. Do you understand? It pertains to the actual formula in my mathematics. Okay, so now, so we'll say this number is a question and this number is a question. And so all we'll know is that 0 times N equals 0 and N times 0 does not equal 0. It now equals 0 N because we know N times 0 equals 0 N, just like N divided by 0 equals 0 N. And these numbers are symmetrical, hold the supersymmetry to each other because multiplication is the inverse of division. I'm going to say it again. Multiplication times is the inverse of alienation. times is the inverse of alienation. So these numbers here are supersymmetric. Okay? These numbers here are supersymmetric. Okay. So now, so we have this number in correlationship to that number, in correlation to that number. We have this number on in correlation to this number. We have this number 0 in correlationship to that number. And we have this number here in correlationship to that number. We have this number here in correlation to that number. And this number here in correlation to that number. And this number here in correlationship to this number. So, I'm giving you a key, and I'm showing you something. That if you follow this pattern, and you look there, and you follow this pattern, and you look here, and you follow this pattern, and you look there, and there, to there, and here, to here, and here, to here, and here, to here, you may be able to figure out what these numbers are. I can't delve into this part, because what it does is, it explains what a complex number is. It begins to explain what 0 plus n is. It explains, because remember that multiplication is nothing but fancy division, as they say. And subtract let me say it again. I apologize. I can't remember it. Let me say it again for you. Multiplication is what they say is fancy or glorified addition. Multiplication is fancy or glorified addition. So that would mean that multiplication or times is fancy or glorified adding. Okay? And so this is important, because that's a little bit important statement. Let's erase that. See, because I don't want you to take nothing I'm saying for granted. I don't want you to take nothing that's up here, nothing that's been said on this shadow hour right here. Ain't nothing funny. Ain't nothing funny about this. Look. You have to you have minus. It's inverse. We use that for inverse. That's the sign that saw the other shadow on my paper. And she was like, "What is that? I can't even read this. It's got symbols on it." And then I realized, oh yeah, that's not something that everybody can read. So then minus, and then okay, minus is we also use this for reflection or anything. So minus is its inverse is addition. Its inverse is to add. Minus inverse is to add. You'll see why I hesitate later. Minus inverse is to add. Alienate its inverse is to multiply or to times. Multiply times, that's how it works. Times. So minus alienate add times. Minus alienate add times. So its inverse is times. Minus inverse is add. Alienate inverse is time. So we got that. And vice versa. Inverse of add is minus. Inverse of time is alienate. Now, but we also know that minus we also know I don't even have to write it. We do this. We see this combination. Let's do this one. The inverse of minus is add. The inverse of alienate is time. So the inverse of minus, or the glorification of minus, is to alienate. The glorification of minus is to alienate. And the glorification of adding is to multiply. So we do this to show you and your child, and anybody that needs to know, we do this to show you that numbers we have permutations of numbers. That numbers can be this way in relation, this way in relation. When you start to learn the relationship between minus and times and division and add, when you make those correlations, then you start to understand more about mathematics. Then at this point, you can move to this plane, because things like this are relevant on the new number line. Things like this, minus and times, the relationship between those two, just as sure as the relationship between, you know, we showed this like 1 plus 1 equals 2, but 1 times 1, let's do these ones right, because we have a new number in town, so we can't just write ones like we want some more. And 1 times 1 equals 1 squared. So then now we can say that this number is bigger than this number. So then if we had 1 plus 0 equals 1, and 1 times 0, if that equals 0, and as we said, a number times 0 equals 1, so now this number would actually be 0, 1, because 1 plus 0 will equal 1. And 1 times 0 will equal 1 un. You see that? 1 times 0 will equal 1 un. So you see 1, 2, and 1, 2. So then 1 plus, excuse me, 2 will equal 3. And 1 times 3 will equal 3. And then 1 plus, I didn't mean to write that, 1 plus 4, so I got 0, 1, 2, so I go 1 plus 3 will equal 4. And I meant 2 right here. I know y'all yelling in my ear, I hear you. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And then 1 plus 3 will equal 4. But that should be times, right? Times 3 will equal 3. And 1 times 2 equals 2. Now we got it. 1 times 0 equals 1 un. 1 times 1 equals 1 squared. 1 times 2 equals 2. 1 times 3 equals 3. And you see the pattern. If we went one more, I want to go to the fifth stage from on, because you see, you have now at the top of your numbers, you have a 0 number, and then you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1 times 4, and that's 4. So then now you have this new number at the top of your numbers, even in multiplication. Checkmate. Okay, now we move here and we say 1 plus 4, and I don't play chess at all. I don't even know how to play chess. I never played chess a day in my life. I was a checkers champion when I was like 6 and 7 years old, 8 and 9. I really was in the Boys Club of America in Auburn, Georgia. Shout out. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. So the one thing we see, we're going to erase the new mathematics right here. We're going to get rid of this new mathematics, all get in our heart, along with my minus alienate add times, my order of operations, my minus alienate add times. Keep that in your mind, people. Minus alienate add times order. Minus alienate add times order. That's the new order of operation. When we get through with this, we get through learning this, we're going to learn new orders of operation. We ain't even got there yet. We're still introducing the numbers. This is the introduction to the numbers. So if this is the introduction, imagine what the numbers do when they really do it. For real now. This is the introduction to the numbers. We're learning about new and up. We're learning about 1 times 1 and 0 times 1. That's what we really learned about it. So when we get into some real figures, I'm gonna need your children. Your children gonna be teaching us. Why? They're gonna be teaching me. I'm waiting on that day. So now, the same way Dr. York said he was waiting on that day. The same way anybody will be grateful if other people benefit and learn from what they teach. What sense would it make for a master to enter this realm from the 19th galaxy, the 3 sun galaxy, to travel these great distances to this hell called the Draco star constellation, the 18th galaxy, your measly minor planet in the 3rd sector called planet nothing, because it don't have a name, named after an element called earth, water, wind, and fire. So it does not have a name, and it's a forgotten place almost. And you think he came all the way here just to leave nothing, just to... That's ridiculous, man. Come on now. Come on. Gotta raise somebody up. What happened to raising them up to be God? What happened to that? And guys, stop, man. Don't do that to us. Don't try to do that to us. We great. We are the God. Not just one of us. All of us. So now, what we're showing here, you remember we said it's off by power 1. Off by power 1. 5 is off by power 1 and negative 4. Negative 4 off by power negative 3. We did the whole thing. Even 0 is off by power 1 with nu, because nu is 1 and 0 is something. So now, so it's off by power 1. So what do we see here? We see off by power 1, 5, off by power 1, 4, 4, off by power 1, 3, 3, off by power 1, 2, 2, off by power 1, 1 squared. But this is 2, because 1 by 1 is 2. But it is equal 1 squared. But it is 2. See? Fibonacci. Yeah. Fibonacci, however that goes, that's what you're looking at. Square, 2 square, 3 square, 5 square, 1 square, 2 square, 3 square. But what you're supposed to notice is that when we wrote 1 square, we wrote 1 by 1. 1 by 1. Yeah. So then that's why I said that 1 by 1 is 2, because I got 1 and 1. That is 2. But multiply, it equals 1 square. So then we get 2, and then we get 1. So we get this 1, and we get this number up. So now, what we have to say is that if I decided to give you a penny or a dollar, and I gave you a dollar every day, I added to the dollars a dollar every day. Not only did I add a dollar, but I went up by a power of 1 every day when I added the dollar. That means that the first day, we had $1. I didn't give you nothing, so you kept $1. The first day, you had $1. I didn't give you nothing, you had $100 in the multiplication side. In the addition side, I gave you $1. But then the second day, you had $1. So I added $1. So you had 2. But in the second day here, I gave you, had $1. I multiplied $1, and you still had $1. Just $1. It's just $1 squared, but it's still just $1. In the third day, you had $1 still, and I added to you $2. And so you had 3. But in this third day, you had $1, and I multiplied 2, and you just had $2. So which side is growing the fastest? This side or this side? Obviously, this side has the bigger number. this side has the most growth. Okay? This side has the most growth. Okay? But at some point, these numbers change over. Like for instance, if we draw a line right here, and then we start at the same thing, the same question with 2 plus 0 equals 2. And then we ask the same question, 2 times 0 equals 0, 2, or 2 odd. We good. We can do that. And then we say 2 plus 1, because we following this pattern 0, 1. So then we say 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1 equals 3. And then we say 2 times 1 equals 2. And we know that for right here. 1 times 2 equals 2, and 2 times 1 equals 2. So when it comes to these numbers, like 2 and 1, these regular numbers, they're easily reversible by the law. Like the multiplicative inverse is true. 1 times 2 equals 2. And 2 times 1 equals 2. Or that could be 3 times 2 equals 6. And 2 times 3 will equal 6. So the multiplicative inverse is true. But not when you get to 0, new, or on. You get there? And in some cases, 1. The new one that I got to tell you about, that we didn't speak about, is hidden somewhere up in here, and somewhere around about up in here, you know, like that. So we didn't even discuss that. But let's get things still popping. So then we gotta go. So then we'll say 2 plus 2 equals 4, and then we'll say 2 times 2 equals 4. And then at this point, we got numbers that's added the same as numbers that's multiplied. But this number is 2 squared, and this number is just 4. So they do have a difference. This number is squared because it's multiplied, and this number is added. So it's this one. So then, even when we get down to the next rail, and we say 2 plus 3 equals 5, but then when we say 2 times 3, that's going to equal 6. So at this point, we have started out where we were larger. 2 is bigger than 200. 3 is bigger than 2. 4 is the same size as 4. 5 is less than 6. So up in this area, there is major knowledge to be comprehended about what's actually happening up here. Because this, as below, so as below, as so above. We know that. So as below, as so above. So if we're having these type of entanglements and interactions, where we have numbers that's being added, that's the same thing as the same two numbers being multiplied, or we have numbers being added that's more than the same two numbers that's being multiplied, then we have a number that's added, and then it's really a great portion more than the number that we have multiplied. So then, yes, we see that there is some quantum entanglement that should bleed up into the upper realms, into what we call the infinitesimal. There should be some things that come up from the numbers 4 plus 4 and 4 times 4, and there should be some things that come up from 1 plus 1 and 1 times 1. There should be some things that come up from 0 divided by 0 and 0 times 0. There should be some things come up from the squares and from the numbers over 0 and multiplied by 0. There should be some things that emerge from that. And thus, you see new on the top, and you see new as an emergence. So it's a whole new world. It's a whole new thing got to emerge from what we're talking about. So we just down a little bit ground zero, and we're trying to emerge up to something. We're trying to show something. But when we emerge, we're going to emerge not out like that. We're going to emerge in all directions. We're going to emerge like that. We're going to emerge. We got to be ready to emerge from this. Okay? So it's sorry about that. I got to turn my light back on. It's a thing called the emergence theory, along with information theory, along with conscious theory, along with string theory, everything theory. It's an emergence theory. It's a theory about just about everything. Trust me. But all of it ain't true. So, I love the fact that y'all came on. I love the fact that I got a nice little group of people here, and this is our first time on this page. Y'all go to our YouTube page and subscribe to New University TV. Please, we're asking the new wife. We're asking our people. Go there. Come to our page and support us. Call our phone number. Our phone number is, let me see if I can find it. We're going to test the number like 5 times. Let me see if I can find the number. Oh yeah, I got the number right here. Our number is 347-876-2922. Yeah, 347-876-2922. 347-876-2922. We love those numbers too. What? That's a good number, BASTET. Okay, so what else I was gonna do? So first of all, family, we have come a long way. We have come a very long way. We have come from using the ordinary number line, the traditional ordinary number line. We have come from using that to actually using a new number line. We have come from not knowing what's between 0 and 1 to knowing what's between 0 and 1. We have come a long way. It's too much mathematics for me to even recap right now, for what y'all should have gathered from this. So let's go here. Remember I said about they don't know what's between 0 on the pole and 1 right here? Remember we talked about that? And they don't know what goes beyond this number 1, and they don't know what goes beyond this number 1. What's in between that, a 101, negative 101? They don't know? Well then, let's do this again. Let's write this so you can see it. More flaws, y'all. More flaws. Sorry. I haven't eaten nothing. Okay, so now let's make these negatives. Okay. So now, the question is, let's do it here. Would y'all mind if we erase this? If we erase this minus, add, times, that was very important, but we're going to erase that. I hope y'all got that. Man, you got to watch this video with a pencil and paper, and you got to draw the stuff out. You got to draw everything out. And one of the main reasons for that is because, you see, it's a reason why people like Imhotep held 2 pencils like this ambidextrously. It's a reason for that. And the reason why for that is because it showed a certain amount of intelligence. It showed a certain amount of work ethic. And so you'll see too who they're holding the pen too. You'll see a lot of the deities holding the pen. And the reason why they hold a pen is because, for the same reason why you say the pen is mightier than the sword and the tongue is mightier than the pen, right? This is the reason why. It's because your pen is an actual antenna. It's just like your hair. So the gallon, the pen, the gallon, everybody, you know about it. The quill, you should know about it. If you know about these things, then you know why we use this instead of peck, 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 peck. You know why we put this up there. Because this thing is a vital tool. This thing is an antenna. Now your computer has a chip right there, has an antenna built in. It can receive signals, true. But if you want to receive your personal signal, then you can pick up something plastic even, like this. It would be better to use something natural, like some type of metal pen, or some type of feather pen, or some something like that. But this will do the job. It puts the antenna up in the air, and what you're thinking, and with the signal up, then it allows you to